I was thinking yesterday and this morning, reflecting. I realized that most human beings, not all, but most, they are not living their own life. As an individual, just think about that. You can waste a lifetime not living your own life, living your life. You're trying to live someone else's life. You're trying to be like someone else. You're stealing other people's lives. You're trying to appease and get along. It's amazing to me the few people who are truly just living their life. And you can't do that and you have no idea what life is like until you live your life. But I also realize in nowadays society, over the last 50, 60 years or so, give or take, that you were never taught to live your life growing up. You were not prepared in a physical way, practical way of taking care of yourself when you become 18 and older. You were not taught as a kid responsibility. Clean the house, your room, wash your dishes when you finish, or cut the grass, take the trash out. And then as you got older, a little more responsibility and more responsibility from your parents, by your parents. You were not taught that. They did not prepare you in a practical sense that when you grow up to be 18 and older, you're out on your own. They didn't prepare you for that. Isn't that amazing? And I can honestly tell you, and sometimes I think about people in my class that I went to high school with, or people that are my age that I've met over the years. I can honestly tell you, I don't know. There may be someone. I'm just not, because I'm not in contact with everyone that I graduated high school with and grew up around. But I don't know of anyone in my class that I went to high school with that were not prepared in a practical way to live their lives. That when they turned 18, they would be able to go out and then have something to start with and grow with that in a practical life, in a job, in a business, and all that. We were taught that. It's weird that it is not being taught now. I just never imagined that one day parents will have children, boys and girls, and not prepare them in a practical way to live their lives so when they go out, they can just take care of themselves. No matter how difficult it gets, no matter what situation comes along, they just take care of themselves. And they grow in taking care of themselves. I just never thought. The number of people I run into today that cannot take care of themselves, and especially men, is mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing to me. And so I realized, as I reflected, that because you were not taught in a practical way of how to take care of yourself when you turn 18, move out, because they've been teaching you by example and, doing it and everything. Growing up, you have not been taught spiritual ways as well. You have not been taught to go from the practical way to the spiritual way and have both operating on your behalf. And so as a result of that, you're struggling in life. And if someone tries to tell you, unless you're ready to hear it and overcome, you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it. Your excuses work better for you. So you think. You can live, and I'm telling you this not because someone said it. You can live your life. You were your life, right? You were created to live your life. Not somebody else's life. Not somebody else's ideas. Not somebody else's plans. Whether it's the preacher or the teacher or the politician or the president or the richest man or woman in the world or the most popular man or woman in the world, famous, so-called famous person, you can't live their life. You were created to live your life, but you're undeveloped because your parents did not teach you anything. And so you don't know how to transfer from one to another and make the one a whole. You don't know how to do it. And it's sad. It's pretty sad. But I understand it. You still have a chance, though. All you have to do is wake up and take control of your life. You're living everybody else's ideas of life. And they are not working. Look how miserable you are. I want you to really think about that. Excuse me. You can spend a whole lifetime not living your life and not knowing that you're not living your life. Even though it's a struggle, you still think you're living your life. Each individual have been given a life to live, but you don't know what that is. And if someone try to tell you where to look for it, really look for it, that's too much work. If you notice, you haven't found it in fame or fortune. You haven't found it in popularity. You haven't found it in wherever you might live or might not live. You haven't found it in government taking care of you. You haven't found your life in blaming others, calling them racist and names, and trying to get revenge and jealousy and envy and strife. You haven't found your life there. You haven't found it on top of the mountain or on the bottom of the mountain. You haven't found it in your jobs. You haven't found your life. What a sad way to live. When you really can find it if you look. There is another world. There is another reality. And you won't look in that world. You're just looking in a shallow world for shallow things. And you're not happy. Even when you read the Bible, you quote the scriptures, you pray to God, Lord, please help me. You pray to Jesus, Jesus, come by here. You worship the Lord, you go to church, and you still haven't found it. You're still miserable. But anyway, according to a 2023 Harris poll for Bloomberg, about 45% of people ages 18 to 29 live at home with their family, lived at home with their family in 2023. 45%. Ages 18 to 29. All of those people are miserable people. They are not happy. You could bank on that. And their father and mother don't love them. Their parents don't love them. If their parents had loved them, they would have prepared them to leave home at 18, no later than 19. They would have prepared them growing up. They would have insisted that their children grow up and be responsible because they have to go out at some point, or should go out at some point, and live their lives. But the parents didn't care. They have no love. The one thing you can bank on, you can bank on this and never have to work again in your whole life if you bank on it. Mothers and fathers, and especially mothers, do not love their children. It's a lie when you hear a mother cry and say how much she loves her children. She's lying when she's at a school board meeting pretending to be upset about transgenders. She's lying when she's at a school board meeting pretending that she's upset because the kids are being taught everything but reading, writing, and arithmetic. The mother's lying. It's all fake tears. It's all to get an action. It's all for a thrill and to be seen. And the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. What they do the very next morning, they send those children off to that same school, and they go out and pretend to be the man of the house, to be equal to a man. They go to work. They drop their little baby off at the daycare center. And yet they cry when something happened and pretend they were a good mother. No, you're not. Mothers are no good today. Zero good. Zero. They don't put anyone or anything first but themselves, their ego. And the kids suffer because they have not been prepared like they did in the good old days. They did it in the good old days. They prepared. And when you turn 18, you're out on your own. Your mother said, oh, go to college. I'll take care of you. Go to college. Anything to control you for personal interest, to feel good about feeling bad. Let me go to Apple, a first-time caller out of Illinois. Apple, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hi, Jesse.
Hi, Apple. I had a cousin named Apple. She dead now. She dead. But I had a cousin named Apple.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's unusual.
It is. I don't know any other person by the name of Apple but you now.
Oh, my goodness. Maybe she came back to life.
I hope so.
Was she a good person?
No such thing.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
But welcome to the show, Apple.
Well, thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
I've spoken to you in July. You counseled with me.
Okay.
I'm having a problem right now because my anger keeps coming out, and when I get angry, I clam up, I don't talk, I sulk, and it happens this weekend, and I'm working hard to work on myself not to do that.
Right.
And I'm just having a hard time with that. It seems like all hell broke loose this weekend. Is that normal?
Yeah, hell will break loose, that's for sure. But it's an abnormal state. It's not normal, but it's abnormal. And so a situation happened this weekend, you got mad and you just stopped talking and everything?
Yes.
Oh. And tell me the person that did that, the Apple, who is Apple that did that?
Bad.
I'm sorry?
A bad apple.
One bad apple don't spoil that whole bunch, girl. What made you give in to the thoughts and feelings when that happened?
I didn't think about it, though.
Why not?
Because when it starts when I start getting to get that feeling coming back, I just let it. And
you just let it what?
just let it happen. I didn't go into my head say this is just a thought.
And why not?
My old habits.
Yeah, I understand. How will you overcome evil if you don't practice being aware during those moments and when all is well? How will you overcome evil if you don't practice staying present so that the spirit, the light, the love of God can save you from the darkness of your thoughts?
How?
Yes.
Just be aware.
Right, but if you don't stay aware, how will you overcome the darkness?
I can't.
So why don't you practice staying aware all the time? Put that first in your life. Why don't you practice staying present all the time? Why do you want to be unconscious?
Selfish?
You love your misery?
No.
And so your question for me is what?
I want to get over this hell.
You can get over it if you really, really want it. And all you have to do is stay present. Just be aware and do nothing about when that anger comes like that. Don't call it you. Don't fight with it. Don't argue with it. Don't argue with other people about it. Just watch it and let the light save you from it. That is the opportunity given to you by God. He's offering you a hand and that he wants to save you from that. He wants you to see that it's not you so he can take those evil spirits away from you.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
That's true.
And so when the anger pain comes, the thoughts, the feelings, why not just relax in it? See it, know that you're there and feeling it, but do nothing about it.
Okay.
Okay, what?
No emotions. Emotions?
Even if emotions should come, don't you overreact to the emotion. Just know you're feeling emotion, but don't, I'm emotional, I'm angry, I'm lonely, I'm this. Don't get into it like that because it's not you, and then God will save you from it. He said, bring all of your trouble unto him. And that's what he's talking about, all those bad spirits of the imagination and emotion. Emotions are evil.
Right. You're right.
Are you doing the silent prayer every morning and night? No.
Yes.
You are?
Yes.
Okay. So here's what I recommend, Apple. Just go back to the drawing table. No big deal. Don't make a big deal of it. Just realize over the weekend, anger came, you identified with it, and you overreacted. Next time, practice when it happened. Do not overreact at all, but just see it. Don't do anything, just see it.
Okay.
And if you're having a party or your husband is smiling and you're all mad on the inside, just keep that to yourself and go smile with your husband.
Okay.
Or with your friends or whatever, or by yourself. But stop overreaction. Evil want you to overreact. Evil people, the way they control you, they have to get a reaction from you. And they'll try until they can get one, then they feel alive because they got a reaction from you. So don't overreact, but don't judge yourself about this, all right?
Okay.
Just see it, I overreacted this weekend. It wasn't me. And then next time when it comes again, you won't overreact and you allow the truth to save you from it.
Will God help me to speak up?
Absolutely. Can you hold for me?
Yes.
Hold on. I want to go back to Apple, a first-time call out of Illinois. And Apple is struggling with anger. She overreacted this weekend. Now she's feeling silly.
Yes.
So, Apple, you asked before the break, will you be able to speak up? Something like that, right?
Yes, I'm having trouble speaking up my thoughts.
And can you give me an example of something that you could not speak up about?
My husband asked me this yesterday, why am I mad? And I said nothing. Is that I wanted to go out and get something to eat because I cook all week and I just want to be able to relax, at a restaurant and be able to eat, And I got mad because he had something to do at the house and he just didn't want to go out to eat. And I just got upset and I didn't tell him that. And he just like, there's something wrong. You're just not saying.
Oh, well, and so you should have said, well, I wanted to go out to eat. Right?
Right.
But you didn't say that.
Right.
And so you want to know if that should happen again, will you be able to say it?
Right.
Absolutely, if you want to. If you be aware, stay present, you'll be able to say it. If you don't, you won't be able to say it because the moment your husband asks what's wrong, in your mind, it felt like it was an opportunity to control him by not answering that question.
Right.
So practice being present. You'll be able to do what you need to do because there's a time to speak up and there's a time not to. And if you stay conscious, meaning that out of your head about the past or the future, don't look to the past or behind or forward, you'll be able to do all things at the right time and in the right way.
Okay, I did speak up this weekend, and now my sibling is mad at me. My sister boyfriend keeps calling me just to chit chat. So I called him back because he left a message saying that, call me when you get a chance. So I called him back, and anyway, I told him not to call me again because my husband's not comfortable you calling me because he doesn't like you. And so now my sister said that was mean of you saying that to him. He's hurt. He looked up to you, and this is how you treat him. And he's the nicest guy that I ever met. He helps me with my cancer, and he's just hurt right now. And I was just like, I don't like talking to him because it's not right for him to be calling me. So now my brother and sisters are mad at me because they said that I was mean to him. So that's why I just don't want to speak up because I get people mad at me.
So you're going to not live your life because somebody else will get mad at you? Does that make sense?
Right. You got a point.
No, that was a question.
Oh, what was that again?
You're not going to live your life because somebody else is going to get mad at you. Why does it concern you that your brother and your sisters and others are mad at you because you were honest with that guy? Why does that bother you?
It shouldn't bother me.
No, it was a question.
I love it when you say that. It shouldn't bother me.
I didn't ask, sure. I asked, why does it?
Why does it? Because I don't want to hurt other people's feelings.
Are you responsible for other people's feelings?
No.
So then why you don't want to hurt it if you're not responsible?
Because I don't want them to do the same thing to me,
Are they responsible? Are they responsible for your feelings?
No.
So then why you care about that?
Right.
No, that was a question.
doing it to me again. Oh, Jesse, I just love you. What was that again?
At what point will you let go of the world and live your life? At what point do you want to live a whole lifetime without living your life?
I don't get it.
You don't get what?
Do I want to live my life?
Yeah. At what point will you live your life, or will you spend your whole life trying to live the way other people think you should live?
Oh, I get it. I want to live my life.
So then why not start right now then?
Yes. Is that a question?
Yes, that's a question.
Yes, I will live my life. Is that the answer you're looking for?
So I got to run, but listen, you told that man what you said to him. You and don't be angry at the guy. Don't hold anything against him. Give your sister, your brothers, and everybody else the finger, and you live your life.
Okay, I will give him a finger.
But just don't be angry, and just live your life. You got to live your life. I mean, you don't have to, but you were created to live, and you're not living.
Yes. I wasn't angry at him. I just tell him that,
right.
Please don't call me anymore.
It's not your sister's business. It's not your brother's business. It's nobody else's business but you and that guy.
Right.
So,
okay.
And if they get into it again, tell them to stay out of your business. It's not their business.
Right. All right. Thanks, Jesse. I don't want to take up more of your time. I appreciate your...
Call me again.
I will, Jesse.
I wish you well.
Happy Men's History Month.
Oh, that's right. Happy Men's History Month. I guess will always be Men's History Month. Thank you.
Amen.
All right. Let me go to CODY, a first-time caller out of Minnesota. CODY, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hi, how you doing, Jesse?
All is well, sir.
I'm very pleased to talk to you. I've been a long-time fan, and, man, I've tried to call him for a while now over the past couple of years. Just, I guess you got a lot of people up in here, huh?
It's been busy.
Yes, sir. Now for my question, I just recently moved to Minnesota, and obviously Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib is from here. I was curious on what your opinion is about her, and I guess what you think the people could do to exterminate this evil and tyranny from our leaders.
They got to. They should vote out these women, these radical men and women, and vote in men who will stand up and work for them and not against them. Work, right. lower the taxes, keep the police operating, working for them to protect the people who are not committing the crime, get away from this race hustling thing, and just really just work for the people. Repair the roads, lower the taxes, put a wall around the borders, and things like that. And this female to lead, according to the report, she's the first Palestinian American woman to serve in Congress, and one of the first two Muslim women elected to Congress, according to Wikipedia. And we should not have Palestinians in our government.
I agree. I completely agree.
It's insane, man.
I completely agree, Jesse. And so basically, what you're saying is everybody to follow in the steps of the Great White Hope. Is that right?
That'd be a good start. That's for sure.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So maybe are you going to run now that you moved there? Will you run for office?
I'll tell you what, Jesse, I've been thinking about it for quite a long time. And, the thing that really stops me is just, I know how they'd come after my children and my fiance. And that's just an evil, like Trump said, it's a nasty life. And, you really, you got to be willing to sacrifice a lot for it. And
especially nowadays in government has never been pretty. But nowadays, you really have to be ready for if you want to get into government, because it is the hearts and minds of the men and women of government today is pure evil.
Right.
It's pure evil.
Like I said, I've been thinking about it, and I'm not sure what it is for Minnesota. I know I was looking into Illinois when I still lived there, but I'm not sure what the requirements are for Minnesota. I mean,
well, now that you're there, you can take your time and just kind of look around. Don't make quick decisions about it. And if it looks like it can work for you, because we definitely the country need men to take over the government again in order to lead the people in the right way to go.
I completely agree. And I find that so amazing that people have been, I guess, just persuaded into thinking that women could lead, and it's not really a sexist thing. It's just it is about women, and they're just more emotional. You know this, and any man who acts like a woman shouldn't be leading. Beta, right? You know what I mean? They don't know.
Absolutely.
They don't know what's right, and they think with emotion, and they have bleeding hearts.
That's why we need to bring back the order of God in Christ, Christ and man, man over woman, woman over children, and I guarantee you, if that order was restored, we could have peace on earth.
I completely agree with that, and whether that goes for us as a Christian nation or even Iraq as a Muslim nation, as long as these people stay true to their God and a value system, I think that's really what we're missing. And as a 23-year-old, I can tell you, growing up in America, especially in a state like Illinois, it's so degenerate. It's so lacking of value and meaning.
Yeah.
And that's why I've done a complete 180. I mean,
how many children you have?
I have 6 kids, three of my own, 3 stepchildren. But
how old are you?
I'm 23, sir.
Why you have 6 kids at 23? What the?
I love children. I love being a father. Evidently, that's right. Yeah.
Wow. But so the woman you're about to marry, she already had 3 or something?
That's correct. That's correct.
So she been married before?
She has not been married before, no.
And have you been married before?
I have not, no.
Really? And so you're going to marry a woman with 3 children already?
That's right. The father isn't, not to get too personal about it, but their father hasn't been around. And I've been their only father figure for the 3 years that I've been in their life, and I just really see it as my duty. I mean, if I'm here, how could I not be a father to them? What am I going to do? Treat my kids as a dad and not them as well?
How old is she?
She is 31.
And you're how 23?
Yes, sir.
So you're about to marry a woman who already has 3 kids. She's 31 and you're 23?
Yes, sir.
And your children, are they by her or someone else?
I have one child that is with somebody else. I had him when I was 18.
Right.
And I have 2 twins, a boy and a girl, that are with her. So. And however many come, we'll just let God decide that. So.
Why you married a woman that's so old already have children?
Well,
it's like she's like your mother. You marry your mother.
No, I know what you're saying, Jesse. And
What am I saying?
I've prescribed to this. Well, I've prescribed to this point of view as well. With older women and everything. But I mean, even though I'm 23, I feel like I'm 40. I mean,
But you may be feeling like
myself...
you're 40, but you're not 40. And by the time this woman's done with you, you will be 40.
oh man. No, I mean, I just have a much older person's mindset. I had my son when I was 18, and things didn't go well with his mother, and she she just hasn't been a mother to him, and my fiance has been that mother. She's really taken good care of my children, and I love her for it. Like we have issues like anybody else, but
the one thing I can guarantee you, and without a doubt, I guarantee you this. This woman, this 40-some year, you said 40, right?
No, sir, 30. 31.
I mean, this 31-year-old woman that you're involved with 3 children, and you're 23, she see you as a child.
Now, why would you say that?
Because you got women were created for the man to lead them in a marriage, the head of her, right? And she have to tell you what to do. You can't tell her what to do. You can't give her any wisdom and advice. She has to remind you of things. You have to do this and that. She resent the fact that she has to lead you. Plus, she resent the man that is the father to her other children. And now she got your children to deal with. You about to catch hell, man.
No, Jesse, she's a very true woman of God, and
I know such thing.
She does let me take the lead.
Let me talk to her.
Oh, she's not here right now, sir.
Does she obey you?
She certainly does. Yes, sir.
Let me talk to her.
She's not here right now, Jesse.
Oh, she's not there. Okay.
Yes, sir. No,
you're 23, man. She's 31. It's not going to work with all those children and everything.
Well,
do you have a job?
I sure do. I own my own company. I'm a
and
painter.
She's at work too?
What's that?
And you said she's at work?
No, she's currently at the store right now. But no, she stays home with the children and she homeschools, and especially in a state like Minnesota.
Right.
But no, she's a very good woman, Jesse. And,
no, I know such thing.
Why do you say that?
No such thing as a good woman.
Well, good woman.
Oh, you can bank on this. And then I got to run because
as a mother,
you can bank on this. A good woman, 31, 32 years old, will not be married to a 23-year-old guy. You can bank on that.
Okay.
She's not a good woman. A good woman would not be bringing another man between her children, knowing that they need their natural father, that those kids only yearn for their natural father. They don't want a stepmother and they don't want a stepfather. A good woman would not be married a 23-year-old boy.
Well,
a young man.
Yes, sir.
A 23 woman would not be doing that. I mean, a 31-year-old woman would not be. But you know what? Do what you want, but I promise you're going to regret it.
Well, I hope that's not the case. I I have a lot invested. But no, I understand where you're coming from, Jesse. And
you're supposed to be the head of your wife. You can't lead that woman.
But I am, though. We go to church.
Oh, God.
Like I said, she homeschools the kids. I run my own company.
What's wrong with her that she couldn't get a man older than her?
Well, it's not really that. It's just like I said, their father isn't in the picture, and that was his choice.
But what's wrong with her that she couldn't find an older man?
Well, I don't know.
Is she fat or something?
I guess she sees a older man in me. I mean,
is she fat?
Is she fat?
Yeah.
No, Jesse.
Well, what's wrong?
Oh man.
What's wrong with her that she's and you already have children? Your kids need you and nobody else but you. And what's wrong with her that she's couldn't find an older man to if she got to have one and she already had 3 children? What's wrong with her that she couldn't find an older man?
Well, I don't think it was that she couldn't find an older man. I'm sure she could if she wanted to. But like I said, Jesse, I had my son when I was 18, and I really stepped up at that point and had to grow up real quick. And I'm not like all these other 23-year-olds out here that are so degenerate. So
does she obey
lacking.
you?
She certainly does. Yes, sir.
Let me talk to her one day.
Okay, I'll be sure to call back with her.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
All right, I appreciate it, Jesse. Thank
right.
you so much.
You're welcome, Cody. Amazing. Let me go to New Mexico and talk to first-time caller Taka out of New Mexico. Taka, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Good morning, Jesse.
Hey,
thank
Taka.
you and your team for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
My question is, since human race is the only race and there's no other races within human race, has already been proven through biology, but somehow many of us still use the words such as like black, brown, white, Asians, and I'm not sure why some of us, not all, but don't believe in actual science, although they say they believe in science. And I just wanted to hear your take on that.
I don't understand the question.
So, for instance, right now it's a huge topic. For instance, people claim as black is a race.
Are you saying black is not a race?
Correct.
And what is it? What is it if it's not a race?
Oh, it's just societally we categorize each person through. My guess is from not guess, but its truth is from just looking at the person's appearance only. There's no ties with.
But how would you? Let's say that a black person won the Nobel Peace Prize. It was won by a black man, and you didn't know it was a black man, right? But someone wanted to tell you about it. They wanted to say, "Hey, Taka, a black man won the Nobel Peace Prize this year." If they don't say a black man, how would they explain to you that a black man won the Nobel Peace Prize?
Well, it depends where that person actually came from, right? So that's a culture. Cultures are different from skin colors. And for instance, you will never, like for instance, I came from Japan, but Japanese and Chinese and Koreans, like if you see them in front of you, even for myself, if they would dress the same, you can't tell the difference. What's the only things? I mean, I'm not going to identify myself yellow, for instance, right? That's what they trying to tell me as. But I'm not a yellow. I'm not an Asian. I'm Japanese. I'm cultured Japanese.
But with the Japanese and the other Asian and Chinese, they would say that you're yellow.
No, then they are wrong. Just simple.
I don't quite understand. Hake is coming in to help me understand. I don't quite understand what you're saying. How would people communicate colors? How would... I don't know what you're saying.
So what I'm saying is, let's just as, for instance, what Morgan Freeman had a famous interview with, please call me a black man, and I would stop calling you a white man. And it's as simple. It's just his name is Morgan, and you just identify him as a Morgan.
But suppose you don't know him as Morgan, and let's say that Morgan Freeman is standing near a white man, a Chinese man, and a Mexican man. And you don't know him at all. You have no idea who he is. But you want to say, well, Morgan Freeman won the award, whatever, right? And you're like, well, who's Morgan Freeman? Would you say that black guy next to over there, or what would you say?
American.
What? What?
He's American, isn't it?
Hey, what is he saying? Hank is here. Do you know who Hank is?
Hank? I'm sorry. I don't know who Hank is.
Hank, H-A-K, and not Hank.
Oh.
Hank is a white guy. And his show comes on right at the end of my show from 9 to 11. And he's a white guy with a show here on the network.
Okay.
So now you know who he is?
I guess. You just explained to me, but...
And did it help when I said a white guy?
Well, but Jesse, my question
did that help?
Is that... Yes, well... I mean, you can categorize them, but I'm saying it's not a race. You know what I mean? It's different race within us, just one race called human race. But I don't think we should use this word race, different races, because the race term is actually, saying that we are so much different than what it is. So, reason why I'm mentioning this because I'm not sure if you ever heard or listened to.
Well, let me ask you this: if you don't say, so are you saying human race doesn't even exist?
Yes, human race do exist.
It does exist, but the color on the human race doesn't exist.
Well. Different shade of colors, yes, do exist.
And so there are black shade, white shade, dark shade, yellow shade, right?
Well, but shades exist, but I'm saying they are not races.
And so should we omit the shades?
No, you don't have to you don't have to omit it. You can use it as describing a person, for instance, like you say. But
are you saying
some people confused that they are the race? Like, for instance, there is no such a thing as a yellow race per se. So
okay.
It's
okay.
You know
I want Hank to respond to this. He's white, just for the record.
So
and I want you to listen to his show at 9 a.m. What is he's saying? The human race doesn't exist.
No, he's saying the human. Right, there's one race, the human race. All these other races are not actually races.
Who are they?
They're just different shades, and then within those shades, there's all kinds of different cultures.
So,
and is he saying that? Hold on. Yeah, I will, but hold on 1 minute. Is he saying that we should not say we should not say black or white or Chinese
you can say it.
Or Japanese?
It sounds like he would kind of avoid saying it sometimes. Like, for example, Morgan Freeman, he would call that American, not black American.
But that's this country he live in.
Right. It doesn't really tell you specifically
who he is.
Yeah.
No, it's country, but it's come from subcultures, collective of subculture. For instance, the Japanese, right? It's make it easier to make sense. It's exact same look, homogeneous cultures, like Chinese and Japanese. They don't like each other. For instance, Koreans don't like Chinese. Chinese doesn't like Japanese, and vice versa stuff.
But that's just human nature. That's human nature because human nature is evil,
right?
And human nature don't like nobody.
On the Christian faith, right? So let me tie everything for you. What I'm saying.
But the Christians don't like anyone either. Christians like nobody. They don't like their own children.
They don't even like fellow Christians.
Right. They don't like one another. They have no love for one another. Christians are no different than a non-Christian.
Right.
Are you thinking that if we stop believing that race exists, that will make peace?
No, it's just well, I'm not saying it's gonna be just peace forever. It's just I think it just needs to be like truth, right? Facts. It's just the fact is more important than feeding, as you say. You guys always do say that. So the truth is the word race should be used in this. For instance, like there's no white race, for instance. There's no Japanese race, for instance, because Japanese is a culture, not a race. So I had a long discussion on that. Like Chinese is not a race; it's a culture. But genetically speaking, Japanese and Chinese and Koreans are very close to each other, right? Because they look exactly the same.
Right. When I see one Chinese, I see them all.
Well, it makes sense, right?
Right.
Right. So what I'm trying to ties into is I don't know if you have heard or seen.
Let me. I want you. Hold on 1 minute. Hold on 1 minute. Hold on 1 minute. Hold on. The ink. Oh, you know. Oh, okay. Let me just say this to you, all right? Because of time.
Okay.
And then give me a yes or no to this, right?
Sure.
Are you saying that we as human beings should never mention the color of the person or only one race? Okay, human race. You're saying there's only one race, and that's the human race, right?
Correct.
And are you saying that we should never mention the color of the human race?
No. You can't mention.
Are you saying? Are you a Christian?
No, I'm sorry. No.
Why are you not a Christian? No wonder.
No. So
why are you not a Christian?
Well, I mean, I'm actually come from Japan, so.
What does that mean? We have Christians in Japan too. They're just underground.
Very few. Very, very few.
And why is that?
Well, it's mainly Shintoism and Buddhist nation. So
okay. Let me ask.
Sure.
But you're not. So, are you a Buddhist?
Actually, I don't identify myself with any religious groups.
So, do you believe in God?
Well, yes. Yeah, just simply say yes.
You do believe in God.
Right.
Oh, okay. But you don't identify as a Buddhist or Allahu, Akbar or a monk or a Christian or
Correct.
any of those things. You just believe in God.
Correct.
Nice. Well, I appreciate it, Taka. Very interesting. Well, let me go first back to Taka. I thought Taka was done, but apparently he would have more to say about the human race. Let's see here. So Taka, out of New Mexico,
yes,
first time call. You're saying that the human race does exist, right?
Human race does exist. Yes, one.
But we should not call it a different color thing.
Different colors do exist. Well, you can clearly see, but I'm saying they are not subcategorized to races. Since there's only one race, you can say I don't think my skin tone is close to yellow, but you can say maybe if I'm really close to yellow, then you can probably say as hey, describe this person as you mentioned. But I mean it's a little bit. But you can't say that's a race of a group of people, for instance.
Really?
It doesn't make any sense. Right.
And what is the human race?
Is us human, Homo sapiens?
What does that mean?
Is us human? We can genetically close to each other on us human with similar, everything is same, organs. We can transfer each other's blood. I mean,
are gorillas a different species?
Yes,
So man didn't come from the ape.
correct.
Oh, nice. I was scared
So,
there.
So last I'm getting to this. You as a Christian, for instance, you summarize as it's a good against evil. For
Right.
instance, on the racism, right?
Right.
I do listen to your show often, so I understand it. But on my question I had is why is that these they call themselves progressives and liberals, then they say I believe in science, but they still use the word, for instance, Asian race. There's no such Asian race, but they will say Japanese is race, or black or brown or yellow or red is racist. And I think it comes from, I studied the history, and I believe it's coming from, I don't know if you know the interview you saw by Yuri Bezmenov. He was ex-KGB.
Oh,
Explained
yes.
in the early 80s, that fourth step of ideological subversion. So I understand that using skin tones and, for instance, civil rights and social justice movements as the gateway for demoralization of nation. I think that's where it's just my opinion, not just summarized by simply good against evil, but I think that's where it's taking place right now has already been taking place. And I'm guessing right now we are going through destabilization. And first step has already been completed, as he said, in early 80s.
Yeah,
So,
I remember seeing that. I talked about it here on the show, too.
Oh, great. That's what I understand from studying history. Early 1900s, for instance, like a W.E.B. Du Bois, Marcus Garvey, Margaret Sanger, Mary Ovington, I guess, is NAACP founders. They all tied to socialist communist movements. So even Kamala Harris's father is, I believe, studied socialism, communism. And I'm guessing since he's from Jamaica, he probably listened to Marcus Garvey, I would imagine.
But those people who are creating that type of environment, would you consider them I don't know what to say about them. When you say communism, do you think that they are communist, socialist people?
Yes, they were documented that, for instance, W.E.B. Du Bois, if I'm not mistaken, I think he went to Russia back in the days in the early 1900s 4 times or 5 times.
Well, I know that he was a socialist. I know that W.E.B. Du Bois was an evil man, and he wanted to control the people. And he even
communist, I think.
Yeah, he left America and went back over to Africa somewhere and died over there because he no longer want to be according to the reports that I write about in my book, he no longer want to be associated with America.
Right.
He denounced his citizenship.
So my thing is
okay, go ahead.
So my point was these color divisions by appearance, but not by the culture. Like, for instance, America has culture, its own unique culture. So if you would mention more about Southern culture or Northern culture, Western, East, so for instance, like I married my wife from Chicago, so I would say she's a Chicagoan.
Is she black?
Yes.
What? And you're Chinese?
Japanese.
So a Japanese man came all the way from Japan, went over there to Chicago, and married a black woman.
Correct.
And that makes sense.
Well, I was here already in the United States, so I guess that makes sense. Or doesn't make any sense. I'm not sure.
But the culture is so messed up. Why would you get involved with that type of culture?
Well, I have to be honest. I didn't know because I was young. Just, so.
You didn't know the black culture was screwed up?
I'm not sure if I would like to say screwed up, but
Is there another way to define it?
Well, I would say, yeah, it's cultural less is probably the best. Because, for instance, I've been saying this to some of the friends, but her grandmother, who passed away maybe 20 years ago, so she grew up, like you mentioned, in Jim Crows and stuff like that, and she was very outstanding person.
Yeah.
And she knows, men and women difference and respect the elders and so forth.
Right.
But I saw the degradation of those kind of ideas and values started to diminish as the generation passed by. So I always told my wife, is like, why people don't value like your grandmother's generation's values?
Yeah.
Because completely different values. Like, she didn't speak the same. She didn't act the same. To me, I always tell people that if she looks even different, but she looks different,
yeah.
But I can identify her as like grandmother-like in, I think, world standard,
Well, now I understand why you married a black woman, because you're right. In those days, the Jim Crow era days, black people and so-called black culture was nothing like it is today. And there was respect for one another and other people. They didn't blame, they didn't hate. They weren't so violent and destructive. They didn't feel like victims. It was upright. So I'm glad you married that kind of black woman. Right on.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I totally understand it now. And so I got to end this conversation, but if we don't get away from this color thing, how will this all end?
I believe what they want is just as Yuri Bezmenov said, demoralization, destabilization, crisis, normalization, which they want us to divide. Basically, simple.
Yeah.
Just simply, they want us to hate each other.
Yes. Absolutely. And the solution is what?
Oh, I'm sorry. You just a little break up.
The solution is what?
Destabilization.
That's a solution?
Sorry. Dissolution? Sorry, I'm sorry, not understanding.
No, I understand my mic going in and out. Nobody seems to know that but me for some reason. What is the solution to all that is happening with human beings right now?
That is a great question, Jesse, and I don't like I'm just the one human being, and I'm not sure. Actually, I'm not sure I can. I don't know the answer is.
Do you believe that that human beings are evil? Human nature is evil?
Yes. Now I've been listening to your show, and I started to understand that more and more. And you need the time to truly understand that.
And that's, Taka, that's the primary problem, is that human beings, human nature itself is evil, and human beings don't know. They're not all, but most are not aware that they are evil. And so I think I know for a fact, I almost said I believe, but I know for a fact, if human were to overcome that evil nature and take on the nature of God that's truly taken on, not just a Christian Bible thumping, throwing around kind of thing, right?
Yes,
if they really took on the nature of God, switched nature, then this whole idea about racism and race and all cultural and all that stuff would disappear, and we would have peace on earth because there would be no need to fight. We will all have a brand new nature, which is love.
I do agree, and it makes sense.
Amazing. Amazing. I'm glad you called me, Taka.
Thank you, sir. I always wanted to speak with you, and I really appreciate it. And I will listen to your show from now on as well. So thank you so much. Oh, by the way, I really do appreciate on behalf of, I guess, humanity with your service with the bond. And I see that you've been saying this for like decades. So thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Also, I want you to check out the Hake Report right after my show.
Okay. Hank Report, understood.
Yeah, it's Hake.
Hak. Okay.
Tell him, Hank.
Hake Report.
Yeah, the Hake Report.
Oh, thank you so much.
Let me know what you think about it. I think he's like one white guy that, well, you know, we have to use white right now because he's white. He's like real white. And he's not afraid. He has love, so he's not afraid.
Oh, nice, good. That's the good way, because I believe like what you say is I used to have the anger and hate before 2020 or 2019, I would say. So,
did you forgive your mother?
Oh yes, no problem. My father as well, and
nice.
All my family as well, and it's no anger whatsoever.
And I think, and I don't want to adopt hate, but I think hate, because of where he grew up in an area where there are most of Chinese and Asian people. I think he only dates Asian and Chinese girls.
Oh.
And he's white. Am I right, Hate?
No, it's not right.
Remember, I thought you only dated Chinese and Asian girls.
I have dated them.
Right, that's the only thing I ever seen you with, Asian Chinese girls.
You don't know me.
Thank you, Taka. Call me again, man. Amazing, really amazing call. I'm glad that you called back and we finished this conversation. It's deep.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Really appreciate it.
All right, call me again, buddy.
Yes, sir.
All right. Amazing. Really amazing call. 888-7753-773. Let me go to Jamie out of New York. Jamie, welcome to the show. You're on the air. Jamie?
Thanks for having me.
Hey, Jamie.
Yeah. Hi. How are you?
All is well. Thanks for calling.
Amen. Thank you for having me.
Are you a first-time caller, Jamie?
No.
Oh, okay. All right, go ahead.
I just wanted to have a conversation with you. I've always heard that you say that not all women are evil, but most women are. So I would like to ask you, how do you distinguish like evil women from women of God?
Well, good question. All women are evil until they return to the Father. All of them. There's no such thing as a woman that's not evil. But there are women who are recognized, and it's hard for a woman to admit that she is evil, but there are women who have recognized that they are evil, and they're starting to overcome. I see them all the time at my fellowships. I counsel with them. They're in the women's forum and places like that. So all women are evil.
Oh, nice.
And your question is, how do I what?
Yeah, how did you distinguish it? But then I just hear the bad part that we all go through from you right now. But like, how do you distinguish a woman is from God?
One that has overcome evil. When they overcome it, you'll be able to see it. You'll be able to see the light of God in that woman. And she would not be emotional. She wouldn't be angry. Yeah. She wouldn't be insecure. She wouldn't be jealous. I mean, she would have perfect love.
Oh, perfect. Amazing. Now, my question is, leading up to the other question, is that you say that we need to rebuild men, right?
Yeah, rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man.
Correct. So now we know that men cannot be rebuilt without the help of God, correct?
That's the only way that it can happen. It can happen no other way.
Amen. So now my next point will be, if women of God, you think God can use women to or rebuild men, I'll say, since everything starts from, us giving birth to men and women in this case, because we're the only ones that can conceive a child. You guys are the one that gives into the generation of making a child. Amen. So my question would be if you think that God will be able to use women to rebuild men.
No.
No.
Because
Okay.
it's not God's order.
Okay.
God want women, and there are women who started do this. Not many, a handful, not many, just a few. But God want women to return to the Father. Women must be born again of the Father. And then when they're born again of the Father, they naturally love, without even knowing it, they naturally love the order of God. And so the woman there would be nothing in her to try to take the role or pretend to be a man.
Yeah. Okay, so now this is what I've been doing, and I'm thinking, I don't know if I'm wrong, so I wanted to ask you, because I feel like you're like the elders in the Bible when I read it, because I read every day.
I'm old, but I'm older than Israel. I'm not older than the Bible yet.
No. I know you're not older than the Bible. The Bible would literally call you an elder, right? But you're full of wisdom. So I went through all of that. I remember the first time I called was because my husband, I was looking in my husband to be, surrendered, for him to surrender to God, which actually happened. You helped me out by telling me that I needed to do a silent prayer. And it did went into a breakthrough, because my mission, like you said, during the times of describing a woman of God, is because I love him and I really want to be that suitable help. So I don't want to be doing things wrong. I want to be able to make, to make strong men, strong children, strong-minded. And by doing that, God will need my husband to do so. But in the order of God will be, like you said, God over men, men over women, and women over children. So what much more would I need to fulfill by raising my kids? Is my other question.
Nice question. Let's say that your husband has decided for whatever reason that he does not want to return to God. He doesn't want to return to the Father. He doesn't want to work on that old nature to overcome, but you do, right? And what you have to do is just work on you, and don't do anything at all to try to change your husband. Don't try to help him at all. It will be up to him to work on himself so that God can help him. And so you just work on you, but don't judge your husband. Don't try to fix him. Don't try to point the way or anything. You just work on you, and then the Spirit of God will make a home in you, and in that, He will guide you into how to be that example for the children.
Amen. Okay, perfect. So I'm in the right track. I feel like I'm in the right track. My husband did came to Christ. He did surrender himself to the will of God. Now I feel like my house it's exactly how God intended it to be.
Yes.
God over men, men over women, and women over children. But I do feel like mostly the enemy, because it went from the accuser to the devourer in a matter of years, I'll say.
Yeah.
And now he's trying to devour the family. But I was wondering, because I lead this group of women, I tell them like how to behave, how to be women according to the scripture. So I was thinking that maybe if God was able to use us, but then you said to do it in a silent prayer. So it's like something that I can implement in my girls. That is the reason why I called every single time, just to have a little bit of wisdom from an elder. And so yeah, I was wondering another thing. So why didn't you get married? You couldn't find anyone like that?
They don't exist.
I know it's an invasive question.
They don't exist.
Like you said that you
I want to ask you, did you say you lead a bunch of women?
Yeah, like we do prayers, we do seminars, we read the Bible. I always pray before saying anything because I don't want to say anything wrong to women. I know women are very sensitive. That is the reason why we wear tent at first, because we are very weak. So I try to like tell them and lead them into their place, because that's exactly what I had to do. I had to surrender myself to my husband. I didn't change my husband in any way. I did what
Why
he
are
told
you?
me.
But why are you?
Yeah.
You have a husband, you have kids, you have a family. Why are you trying to lead women? Because women can't lead women. Every time women listen to other women, they suffer. Every time men listen to women, they suffer. Women cannot lead anybody. Why are you trying to lead women when you have a family anyway?
Let's try to say that it's not necessarily me leading. I usually, like I said, I pray before saying anything, because I want the Holy Spirit to fill me and for me to be like an example for my sisters, for my mom.
When you say you pray, how do you pray before you say things to these women?
I tell God to give us the Holy Spirit for us to understand the word and the meaning of His words towards women. I ask Him if anything that we need to correct us at that moment. Yesterday we read into Timothy, and it talks about how women are supposed to be silent and all that, and I try to explain to them as to why he said those kind of things, and it's because of what you just said originally, that women are evil. We are born, or at least we are in the path of evil.
What did those women say when you told them they were evil?
They did took it into perspective by themselves. Like, not every woman reacts the way that they reacted, because I have a lot of women that always throw hate to me. They always call me names and send me to hell, or telling me malicious things. But then there is this women, because I have patience. I know that we are a little bit close-minded to the Holy Spirit, or at least to the existence of God. And so these people that I speak to, they are in many different parts of the world. They took it well. They were like,
but why are because of time? Let me ask. First of all, when you pray to God before you start your meeting, and then you start your little Bible meeting, God has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
Your prayer to God about that and your reading the Bible thing has nothing to do with God at all.
Okay.
And secondly, you should not be leading women or anyone. You have a family that you need to focus on.
Okay.
How old are your children?
They are 2 and 1.
Why? You don't need to be trying to lead nobody. You need to be there for your husband and your children.
Yeah, I'm always there for my husband and my children.
I know, but why are you trying to lead someone then?
Because I'm not trying to lead. I just want God to change lives, I'll say.
Why? Why you want God to do that?
Because Paul says that he wants to save every man. Like you said.
I know, but why do you want him to do it so badly? You are there leading women and you have a husband and children.
No, I don't want to do it specifically so badly. It's just a desire of helping. I feel like
you already have your husband and your wife. I mean, your wife. Correct. You have your husband and your children to help. You don't need to help anybody else.
Okay. So I should just let the Bible studies off?
Yes.
Okay.
Let those women suffer until they find their way.
Well, so far it actually has worked. Most of them, what is that thing, is submitted to their husbands. Their husbands are now their leaders of their home, I would say, because they had backed down. It's pretty much all I always try to say is that women have to back down, because we are damaging our kids. We are damaging men. We are damaging our husbands. So,
why does your husband let you do this?
Huh?
Why does your husband let you go out?
I guess in the beginning was because of immatureness, and right now he is doing it with all of his friends. Like, he's talking to his friends, he's preaching to his friends. He does things on his own. He's very wise as well. I think that God. Well,
I got to run, but tell your husband to make you stay home and watch over his children.
Well, we're right now in a lot of difficult situations where we have to work. I take care of everything, the household and my babies. I take care of him. I always make sure that he is very well taken care of because
So
that's
you
my role as a wife.
get paid. You get paid to read the Bible and do that with the women.
No.
Well, what do you mean by you have to work then?
Well, no, I mean, I'm talking about me working in my regular job. I am a CNA. I work helping people.
So you're married with 2 young children. You teach the Bible to the women, and you have a job.
Yeah. Yeah.
What the?
Yeah.
What?
I love it though. It brings joy to me.
No,
That's
it doesn't.
Why I wanted to see if it was something bad.
You don't love it at all. You're doing it for ego reasons. There's no love in that. It's just you're doing it for the thrill, and the thrill is not love.
Okay. How do you know that it's for the thrill?
Because you're leaving your family, your children, without you being there to watch over them and take care of them.
But how do you know that I am not taking care of my husband and my kids?
Because you can't be doing all those things you're doing and do a good job or a job of taking care of your husband and children.
So you don't think I'm giving my kids love in abundance and teaching them how to be kids? So play, because that's what I do with them.
No,
I play, I teach them little stuff and things like that.
No, you're not at all.
Okay.
Playing with your children is not love. You need to do what you want, and I'm surprised I'm not surprised. So did you bring your husband? Did you bring your husband to Christ?
No, cries made a change in him.
And
I just prayed. I did the silent prayer. You told me to do the silent prayer, and I prayed, and I told God, can you please just can you surround us with you? I really want a man to lead, because I did found God in a moment of desperation where I found out that I was evil, like you said, and I made repentance and all of this. So I started feeling, the love for my husband, for me to be faithful to my husband, because I wasn't like that. For me to be faithful to my husband, for me to be a good mother, taking care of them, for me to be a good friend, for me to be a good sister.
What would you do if your husband told you to stop the Bible teaching right now?
I will definitely stop.
So why don't you stop then?
He hasn't told me that, though. He hasn't told me to stop.
Tell your husband to have you. It's unfortunate that you have to work. Yeah. That's bad enough. But it's double trouble that you call yourself teaching other women. Women can't teach. It's not in them.
Yeah, okay. All right.
So drop the Bible class.
Okay, all right. That sounds good.
You going to drop it?
Yeah, I mean, if you're telling me that it's bad, yes, I will.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I thought I was doing a good thing. I swear, I promised that I thought I was going to do a good thing.
No,
I promised that
I believe you. No, I believe
thought
you.
that I was doing something good.
But no one should be teaching Bible classes anyway. You're not. You have a teacher inside. The Holy Spirit will teach you all things. And you, even men, when they teach the Bible, they're screwing up the lives of the people. They're keeping them away from the teacher. So it's not good to be teaching a Bible class anyway. And it's especially not good when women do it.
Okay. All right. I understand that point.
Hopefully one day you won't have to work either, but I don't know your circus.
I'm planning to stay home. I always tell that too.
Right.
So my husband, I'm planning to stay home because that's what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be taking care of you.
Right.
I'm supposed to be taking care of my kids. But we need the income, the extra income that I can provide while I'm working.
I understand.
I do give myself a lot of time with my kids. But yeah, I don't want to send them to daycare because of the same reason that a lot of evil women, like you say, are around. And I try to teach them at home.
Well, good. Well, drop the Bible class. It's a waste of time. You can't help those women. And and you just stay with the silent prayer and watch over your husband and children. And hopefully one day you won't have to go to work, but I understand the work situation. And I wish you well. Call me again, all right?
Thank you. God bless you, Jesse. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Amazing. Some of you might or might not be aware of this. And I mentioned this yesterday, and didn't get to it, but I mentioned it. that over the weekend, I guess, this past weekend. Is that right there? This past weekend? They had this riot at Ferguson. I'm sorry? Friday, okay. This past weekend. According to Fox 2 Now, a Ferguson police officer was seriously injured during protests on the 10th year anniversary of Michael Brown's death on Friday. Think about that. Michael Brown was a thug. And they're still celebrating a thug's death 10 years later. Can you believe that? They're pretending like it's an important time to remember. That's an example of being possessed by evil. It's an example, just one of the small, there are truckloads of examples of being possessed by evil, but that is one. They're celebrating a thug's death 10 years later, and they feel good about it. It's a thrill. They think they're getting back at the white people. They feel good. They think they're better than the whites when they celebrate Michael Brown. They believe that the police is bad and that they're good. That is insane, but that's what's happening in the world. Done by the children of evil. The incident occurred during what began as a quote-unquote peaceful demonstration, making the 10 years since the death of Michael Brown. Officer Travis Brown is still fighting for his life on Monday morning after he suffered a brain injury outside of the Ferguson Police Department on Friday night. Watch this soundbite from Fox 2 Now. Watch this.
Officer Travis Brown is still in critical condition in the hospital this morning, and Mayor Ella Jones here in Ferguson, she is urging elected officials as well as people in this community to rally around Officer Brown, as well as the police chief here, Troy Doyle, and this police department here as a whole. Officer Brown had been with the Ferguson Police Department since January of this year, and he suffered that brain injury during a protest outside the PD as the community was marking the 10-year commemoration of the death of Michael Brown. So people have been out here in what started as a peaceful protest. And before Brown joined the force here, he was on the front lines actually of the 2014 protest after Michael Brown's death as a St. Louis County police officer. Friday night's chaos, though, it all unfolded as officers were attempting to arrest some protesters who started to get out of hand. They were removing fencing outside the police department, and during that arrest, Officer Brown was knocked to the ground. He fell backwards, hitting his head on pavement. The St. Louis County Prosecutor's Office has issued charges against 28-year-old Elijah Gant of East St. Louis in connection with that brutal assault. He's currently being held in jail on a $500,000 bond. 4 others were arrested out here, and 2 other officers suffered minor injuries.
Think about that. Those black people got up out of their bed. They went to something called a rally to remember a thug 10 years ago who, from all accounts, did nothing good for the country. And they got up and go out and pretend that they are supporting that and against the cop. It was all for the thrill. Quick break, back in a moment. 888-77-JESSE. I'm going to get to all of your calls here in a minute. Just talking about this so-called protest or demonstration that happened in Missouri last Friday, according to this report. I hadn't heard anything about it. And as a result, according to the news, a police officer was hurt. And these people are getting a thrill out of nothing. They can care 2 cents about Michael Brown or the police officer. It just feels good to get up and do it. And that's what evil does. Evil gives you thrills. Thrills are not from God. God is a dispassionate God. Satan is a passionate God. So when you hear people say, love your passion, I'm looking for my passion, they're saying they're looking for the devil. They're looking for more hell. And it's amazing to see this. So they had this so-called peaceful protest, and now another cop is hurt. And according to the police chief Doyle, he commented at the news conference. I want you to know. Perfect. I want you to know that it was about nothing but thrills. They feel like the blacks are getting together in agreement against the police, and that racism is this, and the police brutality. It's all just a thrill. It's just lie. It's evil. And that's what's happening in the world today. That's why you must overcome all thoughts. All thoughts are all lies all the time about anything. It's a practical thoughts. You're hungry. You got to have a roof over your head. But you can overcome that. And you can have perfect peace right here on earth. Or you can live in your imagination and catch nothing but hell and make up a bunch of lies about your hell. You know you can make up lies about your hell, right? Satan will give you hell, and then he give you lies to make up about your hell so you can stay in hell. For an example, Jesus was angry. Jesus was angry. Another one is about the Trinity. We had a very interesting discussion with one of the guests yesterday on the Father's Day about the Trinity. There's nothing in the Bible that teaches the Trinity, right? But it's so prevalent in the Christian's mindset. And they say it because they heard it from someone else, and it does them no good to believe that something called Trinity exists. It does them no good, except it's a nice thrill because it makes you think you know God because you believe in the Trinity. Here is the police chief Doyle's comment from Fox 2 Now, comments at the news conference concerning this so-called peaceful protest last Friday. Watch this.
My team got out there and was assaulted by a number of the protesters that were out there on the scene. As a result, one of my police officers suffered a severe brain injury. This police department, this Ferguson Police Department, since 2014, has been a punching bag for this community. The police department back in 2014, we don't even have them officers here anymore. So what are you protesting? These officers not even here no more. Everything that the activist community has advocated for, as far as body-worn cameras, implicit bias training, crisis intervention training, all this stuff, we have done all of this.
Defund the police.
What are we protesting? What is it? We even changed the uniforms at this police department because people said that the old uniforms triggered people. What are we doing?
Well, that's what you get for listening to the criminals tell you how to run the police department. It ain't about that at all. It's about the heart of the people. The heart is wicked. And you're changing your uniform and doing everything, getting rid of the police, and look, they're still treated that way. They have no love. They're evil. The heart of human nature is mighty wicked. Mighty, mighty, mighty. And isn't it crazy? That's deep what he just said. These idiot police departments and police in charge people did all that for a bunch of angry mob people with nothing going on, and look what happened. Nick, pull up that again. I want to play that again. This is from Fox 2 now, and there was a so-called peaceful demonstration, right? They always call the black mob. They always call the black mob rallies peaceful, even though they're very destructive. There's nothing peaceful about them, but they call them peaceful anyway because they want the blacks to continue to act this way. And as a result of this, and where was this? In Ferguson? In St. Louis. Ferguson, St. Louis, right? Right. And the blacks had another peaceful protest. But yet, according to this report, Officer Tavis Brown is fighting for, as of Monday, was fighting for his life after suffering a brain injury outside the Ferguson Police Department on Friday night. But the blacks had a peaceful protest on Friday. And again, here's what police, and if you notice, this man is black as the ace of spades, and the blacks still not satisfied. Why don't you think, well, maybe there's something else going on? Maybe there is no such thing as racism. Maybe there is no such thing as slavery, and the blacks are suffering from slavery or Jim Crow or systemic racism. Maybe, why don't you say, well, why don't you question? You know, we've done everything we can for the blacks, and they've only gotten worse. Maybe there's something else going on here. They've changed uniforms. They've changed police officers. They're defunded the police, and the blacks are still acting out. I want you to really hear what Chief Doyle said at a news conference after this happened on Friday in St. Louis. Watch this.
My team got out there and was assaulted by a number of the protesters that were out there on the scene. As a result, one of my police officers suffered a severe brain injury. This police department, this Ferguson Police Department, since 2014, has been a punching bag for this community. The police department back in 2014, we don't even have them officers here anymore. So what are you protesting? These officers not even here no more. Everything that the activist community has advocated for, as far as body-worn cameras, implicit bias training, crisis intervention training, all this stuff, we have done all of this. What are we protesting? What is it? We even changed the uniforms at this police department because people said that the old uniforms trigger people.
Wow.
What are we doing?
Can you be that dumb of a police department? Somebody said, oh, the old uniform trigger it's white police brutality. They changed the uniforms. It's like saying my wife is too fat, and because she's so fat, I don't want to sleep with her. And my wife go to the gym and lose weight, and now she's all thin and look all nice. You still don't want her. There was something else going on. Can you imagine the police went through all that over a bunch of angry mob of people who cared 2 cents about Michael Brown or anything else? I'm surprised that the police did, well, not really, not nowadays. I almost said I'm surprised that the police did, but I'm not. My America is gone. It's gone away. And I have a little bit more about Michael Brown here. Let me scroll down.
Hake's note?
Yeah.
I think I found it. About Darren Wilson?
Yeah, Darren Wilson.
He was trying to remind us about how former officer Darren Wilson was fully justified in the shooting of Michael Brown, according to Obama's DOJ.
Wow. And the blacks are still protesting. And now another, I believe the cop that was injured is a black one too. And I can guarantee you, the police department back in 2014 was way better than 2024. And they're still being attacked. A black cop. I want to show you a picture, according to this report, a picture of the suspect, 28-year-old Elijah Gant of East St. Louis, Illinois. He black. Isn't that amazing? And according to the report, I wasn't there, but a black guy did this to a black police. I thought they loved black people. We should love, don't the blacks love the blacks? Now a cop is in a hospital. I don't know if he's still there, but as of Monday he was there, suffering a brain injury by another black. And this person was a black cop. I've told you once, I've told you twice, and I've told you 1,000 times, there's no such thing as racism. It's a spiritual battle. It's a spiritual battle, and it's happening inside of you, not outside. It's in you, each individual. Your warfare, your problems, your doubts and fears and worries, your suicidal thoughts, your jealousy and envy and strife and revenge is in you. It's not outside. It's in you. It has nothing to do with the cops. Amazing, huh? It is mind-blowing. And the sad thing, well, I don't know if it's sad. I use the word sad. I don't mean to use it, but I'll say it's only going to get worse. Look at the people today. They still protest. They still fight against someone because they disagree with that person want to do to themselves. They want to have an abortion. They want to do this. They fight. Husband and wife are still fighting one another. One is trying to control the other by threatening to leave. And I don't want you to go, so I'm going to fight you and make you stay, they say. Let them go. Let me type hate another note. Let them go. If someone want to leave you, let them go. What's wrong with you that you're hurt because somebody want to leave you? Give them the finger and let them go. Wish them well. Derek said they're going to fight in line to get some Camilla greens. I wouldn't be surprised. Wake up, America. We're losing our country while you're losing your soul. And it's not going to get better. 888-7753-7731. One line open. Let's go to David out of California. David, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Good morning, Jesse.
Hey, David.
How's it going? I wanted to elaborate on what you guys were talking about a minute ago about the Japanese gentleman that called in.
Taka.
And was trying to explain, Taka or...
Right, Dave? Taka.
Yeah, he was trying to explain, and I think this is what most people mean. They just use the word race for whatever reason when they're talking about the human race being one. I think they mean that basically we're a species and not a race.
And what does that mean? That was Taka from New Mexico. What does that mean, a species?
Kind of like different animals and whatnot. So they're basically saying we're a species.
So
we're not a race.
Really,
It's
they believe that human beings are animals.
To an extent, basically, they're saying like we're like there's the dogs and cats and birds and all that other stuff. We're a species. We're not a race.
And do you believe that human beings are animals?
I don't know.
Is there a possibility you believe that human beings might be animals?
Well, sometimes they act like animals, yeah.
Well, they do act like everyone that has anger act like an animal. That's for sure. But do you believe that human beings are animals?
I believe when they lose a sense of their spiritual side, yeah, they do turn to animalistic behaviors, yeah.
I know, but not the behavior. But do you believe that human beings are you name the animals, you name that, but do you, David, believe that human beings are animals?
No.
Oh, okay. And why don't you believe that?
Because we're just different. We're just different. I don't know. I can't really answer that. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I just can give you the answer. No, I don't believe we are animals.
All right. Hate, you're saying that we are some people. What are you saying?
Some people say that race is a subset of a species.
What does that mean?
That like a group of people, like a lineage of people from this area tend to be this race. And this area, like the Asians, the Africans, the Europeans, make the different races.
So they're saying that some people think race is a subset of animals?
A subset of species.
Oh, that's interesting.
And what's the species?
Like the human beings are a species.
What's a species?
Beats me, I don't know.
What's a species, David?
Like I said, you have different animals that walk this earth: dogs, cats.
It's interesting to me that human being could, but now I understand how the mind works and why it worked that way. But it's interesting to me that human beings can think that human beings are animals. It's like those people who believe that human beings came from apes, like that's how it came. If I didn't understand, as I didn't before, if I didn't understand the mindset, I wouldn't understand how people think that human beings are animals. It doesn't even make it makes no sense.
That's interesting that you say that now, because it also brings up another thing where if somebody thinks they're an animal, then they basically then start acting like one. They open up new, basically, ways of thinking and just become animalistic in their behavior and the way they walk and talk and
Absolutely, man.
It's interesting.
It's crazy that human beings think that they are animals. No wonder they love the dogs. They identify with the dogs because they see themselves as animals.
Yeah, that's interesting.
David, let me ask, if I might, if you don't want to answer this, you don't have to. Why, the biblical question, why do you think about other people?
I think because basically they're in our lives, so it's a thought, really. It's a thought that pops in your head, and so they're basically running through your head. They're just thoughts that pop into your head because they're in your everyday life. So basically, when you're going about your day, they just kind of pop into your head. They're thoughts, if you will.
So you think about other people because they pop in your head?
Yeah, like a thought, basically.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Amazing. Had you, before it became a biblical question, were you aware that you think about other people?
Yeah. That question though, stumped me. I was like, you usually have an answer for your biblical questions, but I didn't have an answer for this one. That's the only answer I can come up with, which is crazy because if they're just thoughts, then all thoughts are all lies all the time. So that makes it even more interesting.
And so if you believe that it's just thought, and I'm not saying that it is or not at this point, I'm waiting until Sunday, have you stopped thinking about other people?
No. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, it's interesting.
Amazing. Well, thank you, David. I appreciate your call, man. And it's interesting that human beings think that they are animals, and so
it is.
They compare themselves to animals. That's mind-blowing to me, but I understand it.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it, man.
All right, you have a good one.
You too, buddy. 888-7753-773. Let me go quickly over to the UK. Heard around the world by everybody and they mama. If you're black, they mama. If you're white, their mama. Let me talk to Remy out of the UK. Remy, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hi, Jesse.
Hey, Remy, welcome to the show.
Hi. I just had a quick question about subconsciousness.
Yes.
Is your subconscious a feeling?
Repeat that.
Is your subconsciousness a feeling? So when you do something...
So is your subconscious a feeling?
Yeah.
James, define subconscious.
Something you may be experiencing, but you're not aware that you're experiencing or thinking or whatever.
Oh, I see.
Or motivated. Your motivations that you're not aware.
Your subconscious bring on feelings. You get the thoughts, which remind you of something, and then when you get the thought about them, you feel. But if you can catch the thought before it turn into a feeling or drop into feelings, you would never have the feelings.
Oh, I see. Makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, Jesse. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, man. Are you working on yourself?
I am. I'm trying to every single day.
And have you dropped the anger?
By forgiving and being aware of your thoughts.
Oh, good. Well, that's all you have to do, Remy. Just be aware of the thoughts. Don't do anything about them. But practice being aware. Catch them. Just look at them. Watch them. But do nothing about it. And the spirit of the light, the spirit of the Father, will destroy the spirit of darkness. All right? So don't call them you. Don't. And if you find yourself caught up in a thought and a feeling, then just know it's a thought and a feeling, but do nothing about it. And I'm telling you, man, you will find yourself eventually with a clear mind and a free person.
That sounds amazing. Thank you very much, Jesse.
You're welcome.
Just quickly, I have a friend here who has a question for you.
Okay.
Are you okay to answer that?
Yes.
Thank you. One sec.
What's his first name?
Hello.
What's your name?
Patrick.
Patrick, welcome. Go ahead.
Thank you. Jesse, I just wanted to know, if I don't get angry anymore, is that a marker of me overcoming anger?
If let's say that you do feel anger in your mind because your emotions because you're into thoughts, right? But and you don't give into it, eventually all the spirit of anger will be taken away from you. You don't want to fake not getting angry. You don't want to react to anger at all by identifying with it, and it will be taken away from you.
So if I don't identify with the thoughts?
Absolutely. You are not your thoughts, and you're not your feelings. You're not your body. You're not what you do. You're not the kind of work you do. You're not your mama's son. You're none of those things at all. So stop identifying with any of those things. No more identity, and then you shall be free.
Wow, that's mind-blowing.
Have you forgiven your mother?
Yes, I went and forgave.
And how did it go?
I went to her.
How did it go?
I was a bit nervous at first, but I just remained still, and she was quite forthcoming. She didn't deny.
Right on.
Or she didn't put up a. She kind of understood why I chose to forgive her.
Right on. And have you forgiven your father too?
No, my father passed.
Oh, okay.
When I was a baby.
Oh, okay. Well, and are you doing the silent prayer?
Yeah, every day.
Cool.
In the morning.
Well, I want to encourage you, Patrick, to stay with that and just watch those thoughts. I'm telling you, man, without a doubt, I promise you. I promise you. Just watch those thoughts. Don't call them you. Don't identify with them in any form or shape. And they will be taken away from you. Can you hold 1 minute, Patrick?
Yeah, no problem.
Hold on. Let me take a quick break. I want to go back to Patrick over in the UK. Patrick.
Hello?
Patrick.
Yes.
So, over on D-Line, Potleaf asked, how is it you're not in jail over in the UK? Are they still having a riot over there?
Yeah, but that's in England. I live in Wales.
Oh, so you're not near the riot.
Yeah, we've had some riots nearby, but it's not been as bad as England.
Is it true that, and I've been hearing it in the news, I don't know if it's true or not, that over in the UK, that on social media, if you, and I don't know exactly how they word it, but if you disagree or you comment on the riot or you say something about the Muslim, you're considered to be a racist or something like that, and you could be jailed?
I'm not entirely sure, but I do know they do try and censor people, so they'll ban your account. But yeah, there is a lot of controversy.
Yeah. Well, I won't ask you about the riot. I don't want you to go to jail. But anyway, Patrick, stay working on yourself. No matter what happens, what situations come along, you continue to work on yourself. All right.
Thank you, Jesse. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Any other question about that?
No, I'll call back. Not at the moment, but thank you so much.
All right. Good to meet you, brother.
Okay.
Wish you well.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now. Let me go to Juan out of Washington State. Juan, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
How are you doing, Jesse?
All is well. Thanks for calling, man.
Nice to hear your voice.
Yeah, yours
too. So I want to answer the biblical question.
Why do you think about other people? Why do you think about other people?
I don't think about other people.
And why not?
I just, honestly, before I started overcoming, I've always noticed that talking or thinking about other people does me no good. One example I can give you is when I was 18, I used to carpool with my sister and two of my sisters and a sister-in-law to work. And every day when we would get out of work, they would just start tearing down the people, like talking behind the people that we worked with.
Yes.
Like, oh, did you see what this person was wearing? Or did you hear what this person was saying? And like, I remember telling them, like, as an 18-year-old, I remember telling them, like, do you guys notice that you guys do that? Like, you guys, as soon as you guys get out of work, all you guys do is start talking about other people. And and right there, the questioning and they would just stop. Like, it would just shut them down.
Yeah.
And I remember the other day, my daughter asked me, she was like, Dad, do you think about me when you're at work? And I told her no. And she was surprised by it. She was like, how could you say that? I was like, because I'm at work. If I'm at work, I need to be focused on what I'm doing at work. And I told her, I was like, it doesn't mean that I don't love you. It means that when I'm with you, I enjoy your presence. I enjoy being around you. But when we're not together, we're just not together. And there's nothing to think about. And then she kind of got it. But yeah,
how old is your daughter?
My oldest is 10, and my little one is 8.
And so it was the 10-year-old asking you that?
Yeah.
Amazing.
She asked me if I don't think about her when I'm at work.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, because it doesn't help me at work. Thinking about you won't help me at work, so why would I think about you?
That's amazing. Well, I appreciate you responding to the biblical question, Juan, and I'll put my little 2 cents in on Sunday. How's everything else going for you now?
Oh, all hell is breaking loose outside of me. but I'm at peace. I'm chilling.
Good, man.
The wife, I told her that I wanted to sell the house and give her half of the money that we get in profit, and I take my half, and she can continue on with her life and do whatever she needs to do. And she doesn't want to do that. She wants to get lawyers involved. She wants to make a whole deal about it and trying to go the legal way.
I noticed that one thing about not all, but most women, whatever the man want to do to make it right, she gonna go against that because in her mind she thinks she's controlling him, and so whatever women like, they pay really close attention to men, to their husband, to their boyfriend, to other men, and whatever it is that is important to him. Whatever it is that he want to do and it's the right thing to do, she's not going to do it. Because the evil won't let her do it because it wants to cause confusion. It wants to give the man pain. And that's why your wife is acting that way. You tried to do it the right thing based on what you've said, and yet she's not going to do it because she's listening to hell. And then you bring in all the lawyers, they're going to take your money and everything.
Yeah, that's what I told her. I was like, listen, if we sell the house ourselves, we don't have to pay the lawyer fees or none of that stuff. But if you get the lawyers involved, they're going to want a piece of the cake.
Yeah.
And they're going to start charging, and then it's going to be a whole mess. So one thing that I realized, Jesse, was that God will give you what you need, and the devil will give you what you want.
Absolutely, man. That's deep.
And the reason why I came to that realization is because when I got together with her, I wanted a wife. I wanted somebody else's validation. I wanted somebody else to tell me, hey, Juan, you're doing a good job. Because I didn't have that as a kid, right?
Yeah.
So I was always looking for that. And the devil was like, oh, you want a wife? Well, here you go. Here's this one.
That was a guy at church on fellowship Sunday before last. And he was a nice guy, too, working on himself. He was saying that he wanted a family. I'm like, why? Why do you want? He wants kids. He think he'll do better than what his parents did. But I told him that's not true. That's not what you want. The devil is telling you that you want a family. You want kids. You want something you didn't have. And you'll get it. He'll give it to you. And then you end up destroying your family in the same way that you were destroyed. But the devil makes you think that you know what you want, and you really don't.
Yeah, but I also realized that when you're observing yourself and you're seeking God the right way, the stuff that the devil gives you to curse you, God uses it to bless you. Because, for example, in my marriage, I wanted a wife. I wanted that validation, and that was maybe the way of Satan trying to curse me or
yes,
keep me in hell. But God blessed me with my 2 daughters, which to me are a gift.
So is your wife playing a game with your kids? Is she gonna try to play that game and make you suffer with your kids?
She is trying. I mean, she's trying to. She's trying to keep the kid. Like, she tells me that if I move out, she doesn't trust me having the kids over or stuff like that. So she is trying to use the kids to control me.
Isn't that amazing? I don't trust you with your own kids. Who in the world she thinks she is? She's the one that can't be trusted because she end up destroying the children.
Well, even my oldest daughter told me when all this debacle started, she told me, she's like, Dad, if you're leaving, I want to leave with you. Like, I don't want to stay with Mom.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's like she tells me, oh, you're turning my kids against me. I was like, no, you're turning your kids against yourself, because all you do is yell at them and scream at them and treat them, like they're not even your kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you stay calm, you stay aware, stay present where the kingdom of heaven is, where life is. Everything gonna be fine for you, man. I wish you well with this.
Thank you. Yeah, all is well. I mean, even though all this stuff is happening, I know it's just an illusion. It's not real. And whatever needs to happen will happen. And if it happens, it's because it needed to happen. So that's where I'm at. I'm just waiting and see.
That's amazing, Juan. It's good to hear from you, man. And stay with it. Stay with it.
Yes, sir.
No matter what your wife does or how she acts, what she says, because the hell in her is going to try to destroy the heaven in you now. That the darkness in her hate the light in you. So you haven't seen anything yet. Unless she start working on herself, the hell is going to get. It's just, you have not seen hell yet. But if you stay calm and don't overreact to it, you'll be fine.
Yeah, it's the other day I called Hake and I told him that if we're not willing to die for the truth, our whole life will be a lie.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
man.
I have no fear. I know that, like you say, they can take my body, they can take my stuff, but they can't touch my soul. And I've been confirmed of that. Like, I know that for a fact.
Right on. Oh, amazing. Well, stay with it. Stay with it. Stay with it.
Yes, sir. I'm going to make a counseling session so we can talk more about it.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right. It was nice talking to you, Jesse.
You too, buddy. Bye
Take
now.
care.
Okay. We have amazing counseling service, folks. The best on this side of heaven. You might not need but one session, maybe two. Some people like to follow up, but that's up to you. If you're ready to overcome, you can almost only need but one if you're ready to overcome. If you want counsel, family, individual, or whatever, go to rebuildingtheman.com. rebuildingtheman.com or call 800-411-BOND, 800-411-2663. And by phone, Skype, or walk-in. Thank you, guys. Thank you, ladies. Thank you all. I appreciate it. 888-7753-773. This is Manhood Hour. I want to only give you one soundbite, all right? Every man and every woman should come to the TV screen right now and watch this and hear this soundbite. If ever there was a no, don't do, ever do, this is a perfect example of it. Men, males, mama boys, or whatever, never, ever, you should never do this. Some things like a no, you know what I mean? Just no. Never, ever do this, guy. I don't care what. Unless you're like totally in a movie and you're acting. And like it understood that this is just an act. This is a no. Don't do. A guy by the name of Jonathan Majors shed tears over his wife, I guess. Over his girlfriend. And this is a no, never. This is from X. Actor Jonathan Major break down in tears while accepting the perseverance. Let me hear it.
Perseverance.
Or whatever. Award. During the Hollywood Unlock Impact Awards. His first stage appearance since a misdemeanor conviction for a domestic assault. Yeah, don't ever. They should put him back in jail if he were in jail. No wonder somebody to call him a domestic assault. Don't ever do this anymore, guys. Never, ever. Some things like never, 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 ever, 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 but never. Why is Jonathan Major confessing his love for actress Meagan Good? Actress Meagan Good. Watch this.
I love you.
Oh, Lord.
I love you beyond all limit. With all my strength. With all my heart, I love you. I'm supposed to be this tough and strong when you done carried me so many nights. I love you. Through the fire.
I'm a pretend I think that guy was just acting. I just don't believe that was real. This is what's wrong with the blacks. This is exactly what's wrong with them. It's this mama spirit. That's a mama spirit in him. And this woman is mama to him. This woman is mama. Oh, my, up there snotting crying. Now, when you're black and you cry with snot, you crying. Oh, my God. I had not seen it yet. My producer, Derek, told me about it this morning. James, can you read some of the comments for me? Here's the picture and some of the comments from, do you have them there?
I have them.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Shorty, this is a Shorty Mac Atlanta. If my man ain't crying like this, I don't want him.
I bet. Because you know that's a beta, and you can control him.
This is the real JD. As black men, we should be allowed to express our emotions to our woman without any backlash.
Ain't that much emotion in the world. What the?
I'd be in tears too if Meagan Good had my back through times.
I bet you would.
And this last one here, Beasley, NYC, says, great guy, nice gesture, but showing a woman this much vulnerability is the beginning of the end. Women will claim they want this, but once it happens, they will unconsciously start looking at you differently. Hopefully things are different in this case.
They ain't no different. Megan is a divorcee, right?
Mm-hmm.
According to Google. Is that right?
Yep.
She's a divorcee. Men, white people, this is wrong with the blacks. This ain't about it ain't about no slavery. It ain't about racism. It's about this. They're mama's boys. And she sit up there crying, eating it up. She's thinking, I know I got control of this person. I tried to say that, another word, but I won't. That is, Joel, coming real fast. She was married, Megan was married for 10 years to Devon Franklin. I remember that guy. I remember they used to date. A motivation speaker, according to Wikipedia. Joel, what do you think about it? You black. What do you think about that, Joel? Friday? TV? At 11 a.m., Monday through Thursday?
I haven't even really. It's on.
I don't hear you.
Oh, it's not on the bottom. Can you hear me now?
They say I'm crazy.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't even really have an opinion to form yet.
Ain't no opinion, but you see it. An opinion form.
But that is, it's just like.
He was not crying.
No, that was bad.
He was
that's all I can say. It was just really bad. No, it was really bad.
It was not.
And then he started trying to sing. It's just all emotional. It's just an emotional thing, and then it shouldn't be done on public TV like that. And then
that shouldn't even be done behind closed doors.
Period. Yeah, and then especially, it's just, yeah. I think you nailed it right on the head when you said the mama's boy thing and the whole. That's just a perfect example.
That man should be ashamed of himself.
Yeah, it's that, but that's really what's happening. Really, in all people. all people subject to women like that. That's really what happens. But in the black community, it's pretty
And
big.
she's sitting up there and loving it.
Yeah, she's crying too.
She is like God. and the whole world see her being God to this weak beta male. Beta!
You ever realize that
What a beta!
even in songs, the women who sing songs or the women who do speeches like that or whatever, they don't ever say those type of things, even to the men.
That is so true.
They never say stuff like that. I love you to the limits.
Right.
They don't never say
Off
that
the
kind
wall.
of stuff. Yeah.
Right up off the wall. To the fire. Wow, that is so true.
Yeah.
But have you ever cried like that? Well, we don't want to tell about it.
No, I haven't been in many relationships,
know.
so I don't even really.
Yeah.
But the few I have, luckily I had a little bit of common sense not to.
Yeah. You hate.
Of course not.
Why are you laughing?
Because I act all tough.
No.
But no, I mean, inwardly, maybe. No, not even inwardly.
What do you think he doing? He look like he crazy.
No.
What do you think about this guy?
I didn't know that he was that bad.
I didn't know
didn't know that
when
either.
Darren told me about it, I had no idea it was this bad.
Me neither.
He pointed
Well,
out
that
that he had been in trouble for allegedly beating up his white girlfriend.
Right.
And then he got with this woman who's divorced 9 years older than him.
She's 9 years older than him.
Yeah.
No wonder he's the baby.
But she's like a big name. Like she's probably been a star in his eyes for a long time, maybe.
She is 9 years older than him. That is mama.
Yeah.
No wonder mama been taking care of him. Take care of my baby.
It might be as bad or worse as Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union.
Oh,
she's
God.
like 6 years older than him or something like that.
What a mess.
But
What a mess.
that seems like starting to get more common too among even the blacks marrying older women.
They need mama. They need somebody to take care of them.
After already having been with, and the women had already been with older men.
What a mess.
Yeah.
What you say, Nick? Were you surprised?
Surprised?
How,
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
How hard he was crying in the public.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. That was just
At the
that was a lot.
award.
It's maybe uncomfortable. But,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Let's say you don't even get it. Like, what are you guys talking about, mama? Like, you guys are crazy. Don't you understand that stuff doesn't last? Those tears will go away, and then it's back to like
the fight.
Like that didn't even happen.
Yeah.
It's like a PDA, what you said about public displays of affection.
Yep.
Behind closed doors, they're going through hell.
Yep. Talk about the thrill.
I know.
They were like giving off some serious thrills.
It was so interesting. It's interesting too because when you're in the midst of that, like that much emotion, like he was, where you're just like in it, you do things that are so crazy that you don't realize they're crazy in the moment.
I know.
Like when he starts saying like to the limits, and then he starts singing to the person who's not feeling what he's feeling, they're thinking like, what the?
You know what's interesting about Joel said and what you said? That you never see women go that far. Like you're where my rock. Like they'll do their thank yous. They'll even cry on stage, but they won't say all that. That's so interesting.
Yeah,
because the guy has made her his god.
Yes,
that's his
She
god.
ain't gonna be saying you took me through the fire.
Right.
He's like, you're my everything. He was like He was talking to God.
Come here, Derek. Derek said he cried once. I can't wait to hear this one. Yeah, he black.
I cried
Come here,
once.
Derek.
You cried
Derek.
once when you were
he was a kid.
Derek said
But was it to break up with a woman?
I'm about to figure this out. He's
I
a
gave away
kid
mine.
So what?
Grab that.
I said I gave away mine.
You cried
over a lady?
Derek, sit here.
I was like barely a teenager.
So what?
I said I was like barely a teenager.
He was barely a teenager when
And I was trying to break up with this girl.
Nick said he was barely a teenager when he cried over a girl. Yeah. He was barely a teenager when he cried over a girl. He was 19. Meaning that he was going into his 20s.
He was a grown man.
I was breaking up with her. I was like, I don't know. I felt like I was trying to kill someone, but I'm like, oh, I'm crying. Like, get away from it. We got to end this.
This is my producer, Derek. He gave me this story. You cried once, Derek?
I cried one time.
What?
I cried one time, but I was a kid, Mr. Jesse. I
How
was
old-
a kid.
how old-
I was
how old?
probably like 6 or 7.
You were 7?
Over a girl?
Over a girl, yeah.
Oh. How old was she?
I mean,
3?
we was around the same age, but all right, I'll tell you the story. So my grandmother, she had a after school kind of daycare thing, and a lot of the kids after school would go to over my grandmother's house. So, you know, I was the guy. You know, this is my grandma's house, so I was just, you know, walking around being prideful. And there was a girl that I found interest in, and we would always kick it. And my friend, I had a friend, I'm not going to tell his name, but we would all be at the house, and we'd just be discussing which girl we liked, and we ended up liking the same girl. And so at the end of the day, my parents would have to come pick me up. So there was one day where I had to leave a little early, and that left some alone time with my friend and the girl. And as I was walking out, I said, "Hey, don't talk to my girl." And as I was reaching for so as I was reaching for the door, I turned around one last time, and he gave me the most evil smirk, and I knew it was over.
He remembered those details to the T.
He was 6 years old.
He's still holding on to that one.
He gave me the most devilish smirk I've ever seen, and I went home and cried. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I knew it was over.
You've been baiting for a long time.
Beta boy. Beta kid.
Who be thinking of that when you're
got-
6 years old?
I don't know. You know, music videos get to you when you're young. You're real impressionable, so
So are you still friend with the friend, the guy?
no.
Yeah, you done with him.
No, I'm over that. I'm over that.
Did he ever know?
Did he ever know what he
that
was
he
doing?
took your girlfriend?
Oh yeah, he knew. He gave me that smirk. He knew. He knew. Oh yeah, if he listening, you knew.
He's still heated over it.
Wow, forgive.
20 years later.
Bruno, have you ever cried over a woman, Bruno?
Bruno in Oregon.
From Oregon. Bruno, first time caller.
Come off of mute.
Come off your mute.
I'm here. I'm here.
Have you ever cried over a woman like that?
Oh, yeah.
You have?
Oh, yeah.
What the?
Way too many times.
Really?
Yeah, way too many times.
How old are you?
43.
Why, do you still cry over them?
No.
Oh, good, man. And thank you for calling. Go ahead. Why'd you call? Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to call to thank you for all the things that you do. You've helped me tremendously, and I want to tell other people out there, especially if you're just now tuning into Jesse and you're getting his message, stick with that silent prayer.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
It takes time. I think it's probably really easy to give up. I almost gave up a few times myself, but if you stick with it, it really will pay off. And it's an ongoing process.
Yes.
And it might even get a little bit, at least in my case, it got a lot harder before it got better.
Yeah.
People want easy solutions. They want their peels and they want their therapy. And I've done all that. I've been in therapy. I've been on a lot of pills. I'm not on any pills anymore. I don't go to therapy. I just do the silent prayer. I don't even have to do the silent prayer as much these days because I'm so aware of the thoughts.
Amazing.
I think it's a good way to start and practice and get used to the process of observing and being the observer and being a spectator rather than a participant or an orchestrator of your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it allows you to plug into the present. But once you get used to that process, you may not need the silent prayer quite as much, but it's something that you should stick with for as long as you possibly can because it will get better and better and better. I was in your studio just a couple months ago, and I gave you a picture, if you remember. I drew you a picture.
Oh, you did?
And I gave it to you.
Amazing.
And
Thank
that was
you.
my way of saying thank you.
I'm going to have to show that picture again. It's an amazing picture.
It's in the office.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, that was my little way of saying thank you for all that you do. It made a huge impact on my life because several months ago I was suicidal. I was on 3 different antidepressants. I was in therapy. And even with all of that, I was a complete wreck. I was not getting any better. The pills didn't help. The therapy didn't help. Talking to people didn't help. In fact, talking to people probably made it worse in a lot of ways. And people will give you advice all day long. Do this. Go talk to this person. Get on this medication. Talk to this doctor.
Yeah.
None of it works. None of it will free you from your misery. None of it will free you from yourself. Other people cannot free you from your misery.
Stay with it. Stay with it. You see the picture? Are you watching the show right now?
I can't see it. I've already seen it. I'm the one that drew it.
Oh, but I'm showing it right now.
Oh, okay, cool.
Nice. This is an amazing picture. Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you for all that you do. And like I said, to your other listeners, especially those just tuning in, I was, at the very beginning, the first thing I heard you say was all thoughts are all lies all the time.
Yeah.
And I was extremely suicidal. And I don't know why I heard that message at that time, but I thought, I got to know what that means. What is he talking about?
Right on.
Because I've been listening to your Fallen State channel for a long time. I liked the political stuff, but I didn't even know about this channel.
Right
but when
on.
I heard that message from you, I thought, I gotta figure out what he's talking about. And then I just tuned in every day, and I started doing the silent prayer. And then, like, one day I just dropped all my pills. I got out of therapy, and my life has been better ever since.
Bruno, thank you for your call. I got to run. Thank you for the picture.
Okay.
Call me again, all right?
Thank you, Jesse.
All right, buddy.
Take it easy.
All right. The Hake Report. You cried at 6 years old.
I was a boy.
What?
I was a small boy.
And you cried, and you ain't forgiven that guy all your life.
I had to forgive my father. See,
You have to forgive that
I'm
boy.
gonna just blame
too.
my father.
The Hake Report is coming up now. After the Hake Report, Joel Friday TV at 11, and then at 4 p.m., the American Anchor Baby at 4 p.m. Thank you for your super chats and donation. I do appreciate it, and all your support. And Sean, a first-time call out of Arkansas, better known as Arkansas. Gilbert out of Texas, and the caller that just dropped, I'm out of time. Tomorrow is Bible Thumper Thursday for everybody. But Bible Thumper Thursday tomorrow. The women's forum tomorrow night. The Hake Report is coming up now. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, ring the bell, subscribe on all of our channels. Punchy.tv, everything. All right. You cried at 6 years old.
I cried.
And you got mad. You got mad at another guy at 6 years old over a girl.
Satan comes at all ages.
Talk about being a mama boy.
It was Satan.
Yeah, but ain't no the devil. All right, bye, y'all. Take care. Most people today, it's always been that way, not just today. Only a few concerned about the real things of life. Most people are really concerned, especially male men. They're concerned about marriages. They're more talk about women and how to handle them and how to get married I ever heard in my whole life. And the devil tell men and women, oh, your problem is you need to get married and have some children. And you get married and you forget about working on yourself. You forget about spiritual things. You forget about God. Because now that you're married, you got to satisfy your wife. You got to satisfy your husband, and you spend time on that. You spend time on that instead of the things of God, which is inside of you. You don't do that. You're trying to please your wife. You're trying to please your husband, and that's never going to happen. Ain't that much pleasing in the world. Paul said, it's best not to be married. It's best not to be married. And the devil tells you it's best to be married. Oh, you got all these inner feelings on the inside. You're empty. You're longing for something. Your parents didn't do a good job on you. You didn't have a good family growing up. You weren't that happy. You know what? You can make for better parents. You can make for better parents. Get married and have some children and have a family, and you do it, listen to the devil, and you repeat the same thing your parents did, or even worse. Because you listen to the devil told you it's best to be married. That will solve your problems. And it doesn't. It only adds to them. Not only are you fighting trying to please your wife or your husband, you're now fighting because your wife about to take your children from you. Going downtown to the courthouse with an expensive lawyer that she doesn't have to pay for, but you do. And then the court give you counselors for the children, and you have to pay for that. And then you got to pay for your own lawyer. And then once you lose, because you will, you got to pay alimony and now on the children. Oh, but the devil told you you're made for a better parent. Get married. How blind are you? Whereas the unmarried man or woman, not all, but tend to focus on the inner things, not the outer. They don't have to worry about the stupid wife or the stupid husband, the angry wife or the angry husband. They don't try to have to please you, which you can never do anyway. You are not supposed, listen to this, you can tweet this one out on X, JLP Talk on X. You are not supposed to work on a relationship. You are not supposed to try to make a marriage work, a friendship work, a workship work, preachership work, or shipship work. Somebody lied to you when they told you that you got to put effort in it. You got to make it work. They lied to you. The devil inside of others. You've been lied to. And if you notice, the more you try to make things work, they don't work. And so why don't you stop trying to make relationships work? You're lost. You're blind in believing that. You can't make a relationship work. If it's not working naturally without your effort, it ain't meant to be. You're trying to make something be that is not meant to be. And it's never going to be because you're trying to make it be because it was never meant to be. And so you're trying to make it be. Camilla Harris. And so all we have is bees. All we have is bees. Camilla Harris. Amazing. So marriage is not the solution, folks. It's not the answer to your spiritual issues, to your lostness, to your suffering, to your loneliness, to your sadness, to your lack of love, to your revenge and your jealousy. All you do when you get married, all you do is take out revenge on each other. Have you noticed that? And then you go and tell your family members about it. You tell your friends, and you laugh. And they feel bad for you. Oh, poor pitiful you. They're feeling bad for the devil. If you're not married, now if you feel like you got to get married or burn, get married. But if you're not married, you're going to pay more attention to the things of God, meaning the things of the truth, what is right. Because you have time to focus on that. You're only trying to make some stupid relationship work that ain't going to work anyway. Because you're trying to make it work. According to 1 Corinthians 7, 32 through 35, it's Bible Thumper Thursday. But I want you to be free from concerns. I want you to be free from concerns. One who is unmarried is concerned about the things of the Lord. One who is unmarried is concerned about the things of truth. Seeking first the kingdom of God his right way, right? One who is unmarried. How he may please the Lord, not his stupid wife. How he may please the Lord. But one who is married is concerned about the things of the world. I got to buy my wife some flowers. I got to rush home from work because she's going to think I'm out with someone else. I got to take her on a date night. We have 30 children, but she still want a date night. And if not, she's going to be mad. You're concerned about the things of the world, how he may please his wife. Such an idiot person. You can never, ever, 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 but never please a woman. Stop trying. I'm telling you that. I ain't even know it was in the Bible. I want to use the F word, but I don't think you're supposed to call anybody an F word with the L on the end. Anyone that try to please their wives, you're a F with the L. I can't say. I think I was supposed to say that. Now, I don't even know if that's true. You're not supposed to please a wife. Isn't that amazing? So you're concerned, one who is married is concerned about the things of the world, how he may please his wife, and his interests are divided. He's divided. The woman who is unmarried and the virgin is concerned about the things of the Lord. She ain't trying to please no man. She's not wearing those tight underwears out in the road streets trying to please a man. Or paying all that money for her fat butt, balloon butt, gym ball butt. Trying to please a man. An unmarried woman is not trying to do that. She's trying to please the Lord. She's concerned about the things of the world. She's not concerned about the things of the world. So the woman who's unmarried and the virgin is concerned about the things of the Lord, that she may be holy, both in body and spirit. But one who is married is concerned about the things of the world. I got to please my husband, they say. She's concerned about the things of the world, how she may please her husband. I say this for your own benefit, not to put a restraint on you. Don't put a restraint on you trying to please another person. Dummy! Don't put a restraint on you focusing on the world and the people thereof. Not to put a restraint on you, but to promote what is appropriate and to secure undistracted devotion to the Lord. That's from First Corinthians 1. 1 Corinthians 7, 32 through 35. It's not the Bible. It's in the Bible. It's in the Word. So, men and women who are married and those who are getting engaged, stop right now. As of this day, never try to please your husband or your wife. Never try to please another person. Work on you. See what's going on inside of you. Seek the kingdom of God in His right way. Seek the kingdom of God in His right way. And you'll be fine. Never, but never try to please another person. It's abnormal. It is evil. It's evil to try to please your wife or your husband. It's evil. You can't please another person. The more you try, the more you're going to have to give until your soul is completely destroyed. When I think of the world, it fills me with sorrow. When I think of the world, it fills me with sorrow. Children today gonna suffer tomorrow. Oh, what a shame. Such a sad way to live. Who really care. You're living such a sad life, not understanding what is driving you. You literally think you're in control of your own life. You think you're doing those things. You think you're thinking this way. You think you're feeling that way. And you're not. You're blind, thinking that you make decisions, that you have a free will, that you can do what you want. You don't know you're being controlled by something else. Let me go to Jaden, a first-time caller. Not a first-time caller. Sorry about that. A caller out of California. Jaden, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Yo, Jesse. Can you hear me?
I can. Yes, go ahead.
That's sick, bro. You know, I had the question. I was listening to what you just said about how you can't make a relationship work. You really believe that?
Yeah. Not only do I believe that, Jaden, I know that. There's not one person on earth who has ever made a relationship work.
I do notice when I'm talking to the girls, I'm not focused on God. Well, just a quick question before I get into the biblical one. If you don't mind, just what is the point of a friendship then if you're not supposed to like work on it and like build it up? Like, what is the point of a friend?
There is no point of a friendship, and there is no such thing as a friendship. The word friendship is just a word, and what you should do is just live your life without putting titles on anyone or anything, and that way you don't put restrictions upon yourself and others to try to make something work. You want to hang out with somebody? Go hang out, have a little hootenanny over time, and go home with no restriction, no expectation.
Do you actually live your life like
that? Absolutely. And it's amazing.
That sounds so cool, bro. That actually sounds so cool to not like have it like, you know, got to be this ego like, oh, that's my friend. That's my friend.
Right. You don't need to say it's my friend. Go hang out. Don't put a tag on it. If your friend don't show up, fine. If your friend show up, fine. If your friend have a fun, fine. You would lose nothing nor gain anything because you wouldn't have any expectation of that person.
That's sick, bro. I want to live like that. I got to keep doing the silent prayer.
Yeah.
But this is
the way you do it is do the silent prayer. Don't hold anything against yourself or anyone else. Don't be angry. And just watch. Be present. And that will happen for you. You can't make it happen. The Father will cause you to overcome all identities. And he will take away all of your identities and give you clear mind and perfect peace. And you will have no expectation from yourself or anyone else.
Yeah, it's like it's like when you're a kid. Like you don't care if your like friend shows up to play. You're just gonna keep playing anyways. Right?
Absolutely.
Crazy. All right. Well,
so have you ever tried to make a friendship work?
Oh, a ton of them, man. My friend of 8 years went transgender, and I tried so hard to save him, and he became so angry at me.
Yes, because you can't save anyone. You can't even save yourself.
I feel like I could wake him up though, because I've been friends with 8 years.
But you still can't wake him up. Anyone that tries to wake up another person or save another person is asleep themselves. That's why you got the blind leading the blind, right? Who are you to think that you can save somebody or wake somebody up? You're not awake yourself when you think that way.
Yeah. And mostly it's just the girl ones that I try to make work. Like they'll have like a completely different personality. They'll be like, you know, and they'll be texting me first, not like I'm like begging them, but they're texting me first and like hitting me up. But they're just like, I'm just doing it just because it's like a good feeling of, oh yeah, this girl likes me, bro. Yeah, this girl likes me. I'm gonna keep going with that. So I'm just not focused on God, not focused on getting my money up. Nothing.
Well, never when you meet a girl. I'm telling you this: when you meet a girl, I don't care how nice and sweet and lovely and how much she give you the S stuff. Never assume she likes you. She doesn't. All you're doing is coming up with fake ideas in your own mind. She doesn't like you. She just getting the same thrill from you that you're getting from her which is all ego thrill, and that's going to eventually.
But that's the thing, Jesse. I mainly think because I watched you for so long, I'm like I would basically call myself a Jesse-ist. You know how they have they call yourself a Christian. I call myself a Jesse.
What?
I try to tell them all this stuff. I know that's ego. I shouldn't do that, but I try to tell them all this stuff, and it works for a little bit, and then it's go right back to doing it.
Well, stop trying to tell them. You only said to tell people the truth that want to hear the truth.
Whoa.
If they don't,
how do I know they want to hear if I don't tell them?
You will know. Don't worry about it. You will see. You will know.
Speaking of truth, I got this very important biblical question.
Okay.
So it's Bible Thumper Thursday, and I know you're like non-denominational, right? Like you don't follow church.
Yeah, I'm non-denomination.
Yeah, see, I have an issue with that because I believe that there's a Bible verse. If you want me to get it, I can. But it says where Jesus, I think it was in Acts, he gave the keys. It says he gave the keys of the church to Peter. Whatever you bound and loose and on earth will be permitted in heaven. I don't know if you know that verse, but basically it means whatever you permit on earth will be permitted in heaven.
Right.
And whatever you deny on earth will be denied in heaven.
Right.
And he was talking to Peter about that because he gave the keys of the church to Peter and said, you're the rock I'm going to build my church on. So that only really leaves you. And then Peter, of course, gave the authority to Linus. Or if you're a Mormon, you don't believe he gave it to Linus. You think that it just transferred over to Joseph Smith. The point is, you only have like 3 churches after that makes sense, which is like the Catholic, the Orthodox, and the Mormon church. But I just want to know, what is your opinion on all
that? And what's the question?
So yeah, do you think that Jesus gave like the keys of his church, the authority of the church to interpret scripture and everything to Peter only? Like he's the Pope, the judge.
No, you have it too. Anyone that has returned to the Father, working on return to the Father, you are the church. You have the keys, and whatever you bound on earth will be bound in heaven. Whatever you loose on earth will be loose in heaven. And because
but he only said that to Peter.
But I know he said it because Peter knew who he was. The other people did not know who Christ was. They didn't recognize him. They thought he was everybody but who he was. Peter knew he was the Son of the Father.
Okay, so wouldn't he have, after Thomas said, my God, like after he acknowledged Jesus being God,
Thomas never acknowledged Jesus being, he never acknowledged Jesus being God.
But why do you say, my God, after Jesus showed him the holes in his hand?
Because he recognized, he called him God like anyone else, hey, my God, but he didn't say he was God.
What?
Yeah. You believe Jesus is God?
Yeah.
So do you believe it's possible that when Thomas said that God was there with him?
He's always there with him, but that's not what...
Because God is in Jesus.
Oh, you think he might have been talking to the Father, like being like, yo, yeah. God, this is sick.
Yep.
Oh, I never heard that one before. All right, well, I just got a question. Why didn't
let me ask you this first, and then who is the church?
Right, so the church is, well, it's technically called the people of Christ, but you'd have the Orthodox over here.
I'm asking you, who is the church?
I think the church is, right now, I think the church is the Mormon church.
No, your body is the church.
Really?
Yeah. The Mormon building is just a building.
That's a sickness thing.
The building is just a building, man, where people get together.
Wait, Jesse.
But your temper,
all God?
Your body is the temple of God.
Do you think that we're all God?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying this.
There's only one God. Let me ask you, but then I got to run, Jaden. Are you a Mormon?
Yeah.
What?
I don't believe in the prophets, technically, but I agree with their theology. It's actually pretty similar to yours.
Let me ask you this. Where is the proof that Thomas was calling Jesus God? Where did you get it? Because I have heard that before, and I really don't know what to say to people when they say that, because I don't know. I've never seen where Thomas said that.
Right. So it was in John 20:26. After Jesus came back from the dead and showed everyone his hands and everything, Thomas touched him, and then he was like, "My Lord and my God."
So he was talking to the Son and the Father?
But he was just talking to Jesus.
What good is it doing you to be a Mormon?
Dude, actually a ton, because like I said, their theology is pretty similar to yours. In that God does everything to make you better and not bitter. I heard you say that before.
Nice.
We believe in the church. And you're not supposed to be angry. Anger is of the devil. They believe that too. The only thing I disagree is that they believe all emotions are good except for anger. So like when you crying, they'd be like crying with you and all that. It's crazy, bro. But it did me a lot of good because I gained a bunch of money doing door-to-door sales. And the things I learned in the church helped me out, be more patient on the doors and be more peaceful.
Well, let your Mormon preacher know that emotions are not necessary, and let him know that God is a dispassionate God. Satan,
wait.
Satan,
I knew you
Satan, let me just tell you this. Satan is a passionate God, emotion. And if you doubt me, overcome your anger, you'll see. When you overcome your anger, emotions will disappear.
Real quick, I heard you say that before, that God is a dispassionate God.
Right.
But I just want to know, because all over the Bible it says like Jesus was angry, he flipped tables. God was angry, he was disappointed in humanity. Like it keeps saying God has emotions. Why does the Bible
never say that Jesus had emotions?
Well, it said that God the Father got like angry and sad and joyful.
It never said God the Father was angry and mad.
Well, it said the Lord.
It never said he was angry and mad. And let me just say this to you, Jaden, and I know what you're talking about. When human beings read that, they automatically associate their emotions to that of God. They think that he was emotional angry. They don't know he was able to see injustice or evil, but not hate it, not feel anything about it, and take strong action. But they automatically equate their anger, their human nature, to that of God.
Whoa. So God doesn't feel anger like we do?
Not at all. And I promise you, this is one thing I promise you, if you ever do it. Once you overcome anger and thoughts, you will never be emotional again.
Are you serious? Ever again? Like, no, I can't go back to it?
What?
I can't just slip back into it after 20 years?
How can you flip back into something that no longer lives in you?
Because that's what happened when I was a kid. It didn't live in me, and I let it live in me after
It
that.
did. You were not an emotional kid until you were traumatized by your mother.
There you go. What if I become traumatized again? Can I still not go back to being emotional?
Once you are born of the Father, you can never be traumatized again.
What? All right, I got to keep doing the silent prayer. All this sounds awesome, bro.
Yeah, stay with the prayer, right? No matter what. And then practice being present rather than living in your head thinking about the past or the future, all right?
You promise all this is true. You're not just like saying this.
I promise you, it's true, and if you stay with it, you stay present rather than in your head thinking about the past or the future, or yesterday or tomorrow, what's going to. If you stay present, you're going to see what I'm talking about. It will come to pass for you.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right, buddy. Nice call. I appreciate it. All right. Let me go to Noah out of Washington State. Noah, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
How you doing, Jesse?
All is well, Noah.
I'm doing good. I'm a Muslim African.
You're from Africa?
Yeah, I'm from Africa, and I'm Muslim.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, no problem.
And what a bad way to live. You're from Africa and you're Muslim. Allahu Akbar.
I've seen you say before that if you were God, that you would make all Christians have to stop at Israel first.
Yeah, I said that if I were God, one of the requirements to get to heaven for those who want to enter into heaven would be that you will have to go to Israel while you live on earth first.
But the Jewish people spit on Christians over there.
No, they don't. I've been over there. I ain't never been spat on.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, they treated me well over there. It was amazing. And all the people that were with me.
Is that why you're never critical of them? Because you're critical of everybody but Jewish people.
No, I'm critical of the Jews too, especially the liberal Jews. I don't understand how a liberal Jew, a Jew can be liberal. You know what I mean? And especially when they say they went through that little Holocaust thing. I don't know how they can agree with liberalism at all, and knowing that the Democrats don't even like Jews.
Do you know, Jesse, that the Old Testament says Jesus is burning in hell?
That Jesus is burning in hell?
Uh-huh.
That they say that in the Allahu Akbar Bible?
Don't. You heard what I said. I said the Old Testament.
Is that in the? I know I heard you say that. Are you saying that that's in the Allahu Akbar Bible because it's not in the Christian Bible?
That's not the Christian Bible. That's the Judaism Bible.
So you're not talking about the Christian Bible. You're talking about Allahu.
No.
What's the Allahu Akbar Bible called? The Quran. You're talking about the Quran?
Nope.
But that's not in the Christian Bible.
What book did the Jews use?
The Jew Bible.
Is it not called the Old Testament?
I really don't. I don't know. Nor it might be, but I'm not familiar. I've never read the Jewish Bible, and I'm not familiar with it, so I can't comment on it. So I really don't know. What? So I'm told that they use something called the Talmud.
Yeah, exactly.
Talmud.
Yeah.
And the Talmud used the Old Testament, and the Talmud. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. So that's what you're referring to?
Yeah.
And so they say that Jesus is in hell?
Burning in increment.
And do you believe that?
I don't believe that. That's what the Jews believe.
And what is burning in increment mean?
Semen.
What?
In semen.
So they think Jesus is in hell burning in semen?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make sense.
Check it out.
All right. And so let me ask this. Are you going to go to Israel before you die?
When it's liberated.
Are you going there before you die?
If it's liberated, I will.
Oh. Do you love the Jews?
No.
You don't love the Jews?
No.
Do you love the Christians?
Yeah, they're fair people.
Do you love the Christians?
Yeah.
And do you love the Allahu Akbar people?
You gotta say it the right way.
What do you mean?
You've always pronounced it wrong.
And how do you say it? What's the right way?
Allahu Akbar.
Oh man, that sounds so scary. You saying that too perfectly, man.
Yeah.
Don't you ever come to L.A. with that. Listen, how can you love the Christians, the Allahu Akbar people, but not the Jews? If you don't love all, you love none. Because you're supposed to even love your enemies.
I don't want to drag it out.
Do you love your enemies?
Political. My enemies?
Do you love your enemies?
No, but I'm an American, and I was born here.
Right.
Do you love? I'll tell you one thing. I don't know why black people hate white people. I love white people.
But no, you don't. If you don't love the Jews, you don't love the whites. You have to love all.
They don't consider themselves white.
Who?
The Jews.
What the? Call me again. No, I got to take a break. Back in a moment. Let me go to JARRON. I think I'm saying that right. What? JARRON, a first-time caller out of Missouri. JARRON, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
What's going on, Jesse?
All is well, JARRON. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I was calling to tell you I forgave my mother.
Really?
Yeah, man.
How did it go?
Terrible.
What happened?
She played the victim, man, so bad.
They
and
always
I haven't talked
do.
to her since.
Really?
I ain't talked to her since. She ain't called me because I told her she would only call me. She would act like she wanted to know what I was up to, you know, fake love or whatever. But
Right.
she only called to ask for something. Only.
Yeah.
That's the only time. So, but every time she would reach out, you know, it would be like, hey, son, what you up to? Oh, I'm proud of you. How you doing? And, you know, all the, I guess, the commonalities that people do. But she would end up at the end of the conversation, if I, you know, ended the conversation early or tried to leave, she would be like, oh, but I was going to ask you, can I have $300 because my light's off?
Wow.
No, you can't have nothing. So
That's right.
either way, I called her and told her I forgave her, and I was telling her, you know, I forgive you for turning me away from my father because it's a weird story. My dad didn't know about me as well as me not knowing about him growing up.
Wow.
I didn't meet him until I was like 14, maybe. And we ended up getting a relationship at 18 when I turned 18, and we've been good ever since. But it's almost like that relationship was hard to build.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was hard to build after so long. So, but yeah, she played the victim hard, man. It was ridiculous.
Amazing. Well, just don't hold that against her, but don't kiss up at her. Don't try to make her happy. Don't try to please her to make her whatever, right? You just go on with your life now, do the silent prayer, and watch those thoughts. And I tell you, man, heaven will open up to you. It's going to be amazing.
You know, I was actually telling my girl, ever since I did that, whatever was beneath that is gone. Like, I cannot get mad for nothing.
Yes.
It is crazy. It's real, though, but that was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life. I promise. That was so tough. I was shaking like a leaf. Don't know why.
To face your mother?
Yes.
That's how it was for me, too, man. I was in my 30s, and it was the hardest thing that I ever had to do and ever had to do since then, to face my mother. Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing because I know she, you know, nothing gonna happen.
Right.
All she can do is get mad.
She ain't gonna whoop you.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, that was a pretty tough thing. But I'm glad that you know, that I started listening to you because you definitely changed my life drastically.
How old are you now?
I'm 29. I'm about to be 30 in November.
Wow. Man, you waking up at such an early age. I'm telling you now, if you stay with it and practice staying present instead of lost in your head, thinking about the past or the future, which doesn't exist, but stay present. You got to practice staying present. And you have not seen the real you, because the fake you, false you, is going to disappear now. The real you will appear, and it's nothing like what you can imagine.
Yeah, I hope so, man.
Your girlfriend, unless she's working on herself, she's going to start giving you hell, too. Because you're not.
She is working on herself, actually.
Oh, good. Because if you're with someone and one person's working on themselves and the other person is not, the darkness in the other person is going to hate the light in you, and that darkness is going to try to give you hell.
No, she actually the one who brought me to God.
Right on.
Yeah, it's nice, but the house is a lot more clear.
Yeah.
No attitudes, no bad energy at all.
Right on.
It's all good. So.
Well, you stay with it, man. Amazing call. Stay with it. Stay with it. Stay with it.
Thank you, Jesse.
You're welcome, man. What a call. Thank you. Let me go to Anna out of Canada. And there's one line at 888-77-JESSE. Anna, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Oh, good morning, Jesse.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's so nice to speak with you. And I want to tell you that you have the best talk show this side of heaven.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
And you know, Canada, we could use a man like you in Canada, giving us some instruction and direction.
Well, we're going to be doing a speaking tour soon, and hopefully we can get Canada on the list. And the Anchor Baby have contacts over there as well. So hopefully we'll end up in Canada at some point.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
And I tell you, if I was in your neck of the woods, I would be going to that women's forum tonight.
Those forums are amazing, really. You would not regret it. I'm telling the truth. You would not regret it. Yeah.
I'm really envious. But on that note, I did have a question, Jesse, about church going.
Okay.
Because I know today's Bible Thumper Day.
Yes.
And I have always been told, my mother even told me as a child, if you don't attend church unless you're sick or in the hospital, it's a mortal sin.
Wow. Your mother lied to you.
I know that now, but she did scare us kids growing up with that and put the guilt. What a guilt trip.
That's what mothers do. Mothers destroy their children, and then they take them to church.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, oh yeah. So, and then I ended up going to a different church, and you don't want to know, like the rules that we had to follow. And I don't know why I kept going. I guess out of fear.
Yeah.
It was always about fear. If you don't, believe, you don't go, you're going to rot in hell. All these things. And I came out of that, and I mean, and after I've been listening to you and watching your shows, I have really learned so much. I feel like I'm evolving.
Yes.
In an amazing way, because I am doing the silent prayer.
Nice.
I feel sometimes like I'm going to burst. I want to tell people. I want to talk to them about it. But I can't. Because I did try. I made that little bit of a mistake once or twice, and people don't understand.
No, they're not ready for the truth. The one thing I love about the truth is that it's hidden from you, and the truth is only going to enter into you if you invite it, if you welcome that truth. It's not going to impose itself on you. It's not going to make a home or visit if you don't want it to. You have to invite it. And so and I understand how you're feeling. You want to share it. You want to tell people. But most people don't want the truth. They love misery. They love their darkness. They love their hell. They have accepted hell as heaven. And so they're living in hell, and they don't want to hear the truth. So, but if you just stay quiet and do what you're doing, the Father will take over you. He will take over your speaking, and He will cause you to say it, tell the truth to people who want to hear it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Because we've always been taught to, you need to go out and evangelize. You got to get people on board. That's your mission. That's what God has told us that we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, you were lied to about that as well. God will, He will put the right people in front of you that want the truth, and you will find yourself speaking it, and it will be clear, and the person that hears it will welcome it. It will be amazing. So don't worry about that. The devil tell you, as soon as you hear the truth, the devil tell you in the intellect, you got to go out and tell somebody. You got to go out and tell somebody what you know. You got to become a teacher. That's all from evil. It's in the mind, and the devil set you up to do that.
Yeah, I believe that. Because it's a torturous way to live.
Yes.
That you feel impelled to do something and trying to grab people and proselytize. And it's not. I don't think that's the right way to live.
It's
I
not.
never did.
It's not at all. It does no good. It only enhances the ego of the person that's doing that. Anna, let me ask before we run my biblical question. Why do you think about other people?
I would say because I am too caught up and worried about what other people are thinking about me. But I'm getting away from that.
Right on. That's
I'm coming out of that. Thank you, Jesse.
I'll put my little 2 cents in on Sunday about that. That's very interesting. Thank you.
And I will be watching because I want to hear what you got to say.
Thank you. And Anna, stay with it, stay with it, stay with it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, and God bless you, Jesse. Keep doing what you're doing.
I will. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you.
All righty.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye. 888-7753. 773. Let me go back to Canada and talk to Ari. Ari, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Today I wanted to, I guess, answer your biblical question.
Come a little closer to your phone. Why do you think about other people? Why do you think about other people?
I have two perspectives on this. One actually comes from you, and I've heard you say that we don't control our own thoughts, right? That our thoughts are being made up, for us. Like we don't create them.
Right.
So it could be a higher power connecting, like the frequencies of the two souls. Like, have you ever thought of somebody and then they just called you?
I have, yes.
Right, or vice versa?
Yes.
Right, and so, it could be a connection of a higher power, right? And then, from my perspective, there's just too many bodies to not think of people around you. You know what I mean? It's like, this is too much to worry about nowadays. Right?
Amazing. I want to respond to that, but I got to wait until Sunday. And I do appreciate you responding to the biblical question, though. Thank you for that.
No problem. And also, I had one more thing to address. I was listening earlier, and I guess you had that, how do you dress himself? He said he was an African Muslim.
Noah.
Right, so I'm an Israelite, right? So
Are you?
Yes, DNA comes from the 12 tribes. So the seeds of Jacob, pretty much. And the book is called the Torah. Just to let you know for future reference as well.
Oh, okay.
It's not the Talmud. The Talmud was written by the Jews. See, there's a difference between the sons of Israel and Jews.
Are you black?
Jews, no, I'm not. My father was born.
How did you get? Your father was what?
Born in Israel.
Oh, so you're a Jew?
No. There's a difference between a Hebrew or Israelite and a Jew. People don't understand this.
Do you look like, what's an Israelite?
An Israelite is what I said. It's the DNA that comes from the 12 tribes of Jacob. Jacob's name was later changed to Israel when he wrestled the angel on the ladder. Now, he had 12 kids, so the 12 sons of Israel. Right, so they come to the sons of Israel. Now, they're different than the Jew. The Jew is not mentioned once in the Torah, not in Hebrew or English. The Jew came after the first temple. Right? The word Jew is actually not even mentioned in the Torah, not once.
And so are you a black Hebrew Israelite?
No, I'm not black. More
if I saw you, would you look like a black or would you look like a Jew?
I don't look like a Jew, first of all. I look more of a mix.
Mixed with black and Jew?
A darker tone. Yeah.
Oh, so you black?
No, I'm not. I'm olive. Let's say olive.
And
right? You know how
how
they probably would describe you. You guys call him Jesus. We call him Yehoshua, although he was never mentioned in the Torah. Jesus, but his name I know is Yehoshua in Hebrew.
Do you love the Jews?
The Jews, I don't hate the Jews. I have an issue with the idea of it.
Do you love the Jews?
Do I love the Jews? It's a complicated scenario. I have Jewish people that I love.
Do you love the Jews?
As a whole, and as no, because they're. How would I put it?
But let me get the question clear first. Do you love the Jews?
I love the Jews. I love Jewish people.
Do you love the Jews?
As a whole, no, I don't know all of them. How could I love somebody I don't know?
Do you love the Jews?
Not necessarily, no.
You don't love the Jews?
I don't hate them, though.
You don't love the Jews?
I don't love them, but I don't hate them. Is that possible?
So you say you do you love the Jews?
No.
Do you love the Christians?
I just love people. Whoever come, I can't put it as a whole.
Do you love the Christians?
I love Christian people.
Do you love the Christians?
It's the idea of it. No.
Do you love the whites?
Yeah, I love white people. I can't race it based off of race or religion. It has to be people. I'm not going to give them a hate or a love.
Do you love the whites?
I love white people. I love some white people.
Do you love the whites?
No, not as a whole.
Do you love the whites?
Not as a whole, Jesse.
Do you love the blacks?
Not as a whole, Jesse.
Do you love
But
God?
individuals, yes.
Do you love God?
Yes.
You love God?
Yes.
Have you ever seen God?
More felt it.
Have you ever seen God?
Yeah.
You've seen God.
I've seen God. I've seen God.
Oh, God.
I've seen God move his arm in front for Donald Trump and work his magic on the day of rest. I've seen God come to work on the day of rest.
How can you love God, because of time, how can you love God of whom you never seen and hate the Jews, hate the Christians, hate the whites, hate everybody?
Because if there's God in me, I've had more relation with God.
What?
I've had more relation with God than most of the people you've named.
But if you don't love all people, you've had no relationship with God.
I don't hate nobody. I don't dislike. Love's a complicated way to put it. If you said like, right?
There's no such thing as like.
What?
You either love or you hate.
Love or hate?
Do you love the Allahu Akbar people?
No, man, those guys that's a baby religion. They're only 1,400 years old. How their scriptures even?
What does the age have to do with loving them or not?
No, I see again. There's this.
How old are you?
33.
Oh, okay.
No, but there's extremists in different scenarios. Like, how can you love somebody as a whole if that whole is split into its own sense of good and
God said you should love your enemy. To love your enemies, do you love your enemies?
No, I'll respect them though.
Do you love your enemies?
Jesse, I don't even know if I have enemies right now.
Do you love your enemies?
I don't know if I have enemies right now.
But do you love them?
If I had an enemy?
Yeah.
That's a complicated question. I don't know. I might have to sit and come back to you on that one, Jesse.
All right, thank you.
All right, that's not like a real quick answer one right there. I'm not trying to.
Well, smoke on it.
I want to give you an intelligent answer, right? So it's not going to come right off the top like that.
All right, smoke on it. Let me know. I got to run, but let me know. All right.
We'll do. Appreciate you. Thank you.
You too, buddy. 888-7753-773. Justin is a first-time caller out of New York. Justin, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
How are you doing, Jesse? I'm great. Big fan.
All right. Thank you for calling, buddy.
Yeah, my question is, how do I help my girlfriend get the evil out of her heart? Because me and her have had problems in the past with me being a cheater. I've been unfaithful to her. She's had a 2-parent home. I've just been raised by my mother, so already by nature, I already have the evil in my heart. I know that. But her emotions just keep dragging me down, and I try to disconnect, but it just keeps messing with our relationship because she keeps letting herself get consumed by that anger.
All right. I recommend you dump her, and don't try to change her because you can't get the evil out of anyone's heart. Only God can do that, and He will only do it for those who welcome Him in, who want Him to do it, right? And so she might not be ready to overcome that. And now that how did she find out you cheated?
It was like about 2 years ago now. She went in, she found like my Apple Watch. She found all the girls I was talking to. But now it's like
she got what she deserved.
That part of my life.
But she got what she deserved. She had no business looking for that.
Yeah, that's what I was telling her. So she was looking for these things, and I've tried. But right now she's trying to get that out of her heart. Because I've been showing her more of your content. She's willing to change, but it's like little things just keep setting her off. Like, it's not even just me. It's like every little thing in her life, any infraction, she wants to just resort to anger. And I'm telling her, just breathe, do the silent prayer. You have to stop.
Has she forgiven her mother?
She has, but it's her father that really has the issues. Her father treated her more like a boy, So she's really giving off a lot more masculine energy, even though she's really submissive with me. That's the really confusing part about our relationship.
And has she forgiven her father?
I don't. To be honest, I don't think she has, because she loves him, but at the same time, she resents him for a lot of the things he's done to her.
But then she doesn't love him. You can't love and resent. You only one or the other. And so she doesn't love him. Tell her, if she really want to work on herself and get over the evil, because only God can take that away from her, right? Tell her to go and forgive her father so that God can forgive her. And then he will remove that anger from her heart and start to make her free from the thoughts, from the imagination.
And as far as me, what do you think I should do when it comes to me giving in to her anger, like trying to fight? Because I told her I'm just done arguing. I told her she needs to just open her heart up to God and figure out her personal problems, because it's inside of her that's causing all the problems.
Yes.
Not really what I've done.
Yeah. Number one, don't ever, but never try to prove to her that you're not cheating. Don't ever try to prove it, but don't cheat, right? But don't ever try to prove it. And number two, stop the argument. Don't argue with her, period. And let her, if she got to argue, let her argue by herself. And just don't pay attention to it. Don't be a part of it. And don't argue with the devil in your head, your mind, and don't argue with her. And then this thing will work itself out one way or another.
All right. Thank you, Jesse.
But it sounds like you're working on yourself, right?
Yes, I've been watching a lot of your stuff. My best friend introduced me to your show, and really, me and him go to church every Sunday. It's just like, I'm just trying to be better for her, because she made me realize everything that I was doing was wrong. And when I met her, I really didn't think I was going to go as far as we've been going. But I know that I want her to be my wife. You know what I mean?
No,
like, I really want to change my life.
I know, but let me tell you, don't try to be right for her or anyone. You want to be right because you want to come out of being wrong, out of the hell that you live in. And so don't try to be it for her. And then don't want to be married. Don't want a family. You're not supposed to want for anything. You're supposed to only seek the kingdom of God in his right way, and everything, things will be added unto you that is meant for you. But don't want for anything.
That's real deep. I didn't really think about it that way. Well,
and God will add to you. If it meant for you to have a wife, it will happen naturally. You won't have to try to make it work or anything. It'll happen naturally. So stop wanting and just seek the kingdom of God. Do the silent prayer. Watch your thoughts. And I'm telling you, what's in store for you is beyond what you can even imagine.
All right. I'll do that, Jesse. Thank you so much.
All right, but I wish you well.
Thank you. Have a God bless day.
You too. Thank you. Whether you admit it or not, there is an order to life. And this order is so perfect, it blows my mind, right? And that order is God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman. That's the order. And nothing else is going to work but that. You can try to change that order, like men try to be women in dresses, women try to be men, cutting off the body part off, but they still a male, and the female is still a female. And so you can try to switch up this order if you want and say whatever you want to yourself about it. It's still not going to work. It's just not going to work. Your life will be miserable. Your children's life will be miserable. And it's just not going to work. You could say men and women are equal until the cows come home. You can put women in these men roles and put men in women roles until the cows come home, and it's not going to work. It's not going to work. The spiritual order is not going to change because you have decided to listen to the lie of your father, the devil. It's just not going to change. You can bank on it. And you can tell by looking at your own life. Look how miserable you are. Look at how you're looking for love. You're looking for this and you're looking for that, thinking that it's going to make you feel better, and it's not. It's not. That order, if you want a family, and even if you're not married, men are still over women. Even though they're not taking the role, they are putting the women over them. They are allowing it to happen. So it's not going to work. It's like the women complain about men playing in their sport. You know how the females complain about that? But the females are not complaining when they play in men's sport. Like on one hand, men are stronger than women, so they can't play in the women's sport. But on the other hand, they're equal, so they can play in women can play in men's sport. Isn't that insane? There is an order. And that order is God in Christ. Christ in man. Man over woman. Isn't that amazing? And nothing else. And look at how they're switching roles in America. And things are only getting worse. They're not getting better. It's so dumb of America. It's so dumb of America to pretend that men and women are equal. It's like, it's hard to believe because when I was growing up, America wasn't like that. America wasn't thinking that way and knew better. And then something changed. Women will never, ever, ever be equal to men, no matter what you say and what you try to do or how many manly jobs you give them. There's a women's organization out there that's working overtime to get women in the CIA department and police departments and all those places. And they were saying, we're doing really well. Women are almost in all of departments, CIA, FBI, police, everywhere now. And they are putting these women in these positions, and the positions are weaker now. They have no power. They have no authority. They have no rule. They have no nothing. It's going out of control. And if you say something about it, they call you names because they don't want you to believe in the order of God. Evil doesn't want that. There is they now have females in Secret Service as quote-unquote Secret Service agents, right? And look how weak and bad and messed up the Secret Service department is now. Almost about to get the president killed. It's like I remember when they started allowing women to become principals of high schools and things like that. Prior to women becoming principals and so-called vice principal and all that schools, we didn't have to put up those metal detectors. They didn't have to put up bars. They didn't have killing going on in schools and things like that. As soon as that mama spirit was allowed to take over the schools, everything changed. The kids became violent. The school put up bars and metal detectors, and kids started to take guns to school. As soon as they allowed the women in to rule, control. You all don't understand. And some of the ladies are starting to understand it. They really starting to see it. They talked about this a little bit last night. It was mentioned. They talked about it a little bit last night. Women never will, ain't going to happen. be able to have authority over the world. And just because you give it to them and pretend that it is, it's the same way as a man in a dress, a woman in a pantsuit. You're pretending that the female is a man and the male is a woman. But it's not true. But you're just pretending that it is. Just like you pretend that women can lead. It's just not true. This is from X. Hey, did y'all hear about this? This is like mind-blowing. But it's only going to get worse. A female Secret Service agent abandoned her post to breastfeed a child right before former President Trump North Carolina rally on Wednesday. A female Secret Service agent abandoned her post to breastfeed a child right before former President Trump North Carolina rally Wednesday. This is Real Clear Politics Susan Crabtree who reported it. Watch this from Newsmax.
The Secret Service detail that's guarding former President Donald Trump. So this coming from Real Clear Politics reporting that a female Secret Service agent abandoned her post in North Carolina to breastfeed her baby during Trump's visit yesterday to the Tar Heel state. The report says about 5 minutes before Trump's motorcade arrived, the site agent who manages security for the entire event did a final sweep of the location.
And while walking the route, the site agent reportedly found the Secret Service special agent in question breastfeeding with 2 other family members present in a room that's supposed to be set aside for official business like an emergency involving the president. The report says the special agent did not have permission to leave her post and gave no warning prior to the event that she needed personal time. Working Secret Service agents are prohibited from bringing children or any family members, for that matter, on a protective assignment.
Amazing. Now you see why women were not created to go out and work. They were created to stay home, and if they're married, and take care of the man's home and his children. This woman got to breastfeed at a crucial time when the president is there. And she doesn't care, according to the report. She just left, didn't tell anyone, and went on and fed her baby. I wonder if she was a DEI employee. It sounds like something a black woman would do, because she just wouldn't care. America is never coming back. And evil is making sure that it doesn't return. And it's just not about the transgender stuff and all that. That's a part. It's not about abortion. It's about evil putting women in control. And everybody on earth knows, whether you admit it or not, you know that evil, the gates of hell, come through the woman. Evil comes from below, and it comes through the woman. And it's not her fault. It happened with Eve decided to obey Satan, and Satan became the woman's god. And on one hand, they pretend they're a patriot, right? Oh, real patriot. We want to save America. God bless America. We love America. And those same people would be in support of women leaders. They are in support of women taking over. But yet they call themselves patriots. They call themselves Christians. They call themselves liberated women. They call themselves educated women. They call themselves everything but what they are, evil. Y'all better get ready. You think things are bad now? Get ready for a bumpy ride. Because men are weak and women are angry. And men are angry too because they have the spirit of mama. This woman, so-called Secret Service agent, took away, left her post to go breastfeed. Well, and the baby shouldn't even be there. She should be at home with that baby. She should be at home. I wonder if she's a DEI. It just sounds like something a black woman would do and not even care. Evil is ruling your mind and emotions, and you're not in charge. And you're putting these women in all of these positions around the country, right, to ensure that things only get worse. They're not going to get better, but to ensure that they get worse. They had overseas somewhere, they had the little sports things happen, and it only seemed like it was just women participating. The little Olympic thing. It's only every time you looked at you saw a news clip, where you're looking for it or not. It was about women. And they're trying hard to push the woman to the forefront. That's evil. That's why they're working overtime to do it, because it doesn't happen naturally. If life is not happening naturally, then evil is in operation. Terry, out of Texas, welcome to the show.
Hey, Jesse, good morning.
Good morning, Terry. Thanks for calling.
Good. I want to tell you, man, it's an honor to talk to you. I listen to you every day. My wife, she's tired of you, though. I had a question.
Okay. Do you spell Terry with an I or a Y?
Y.
A Y?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I was asking for the wife.
So I had a question.
About the wife.
Oh, I see. Okay, go ahead, buddy.
So my ex-wife is turning my son against me.
Yeah.
It's like I can see it right before my eyes, and I don't know if I need to go to court, if I need to take him to court, but the lawyer's talking about charging $6,000 just to go to court, and I'm just not sure what to do at this point. I just want to know your opinion.
How old is he?
13.
He's 13. Do you have a relationship with him at all?
I mean, I can call him and text him and stuff like that, but like I used to get him like every other weekend, but it's been like a month now. Every time it's time for me to get him, she's like, "Oh, he has this to do, and oh, he can't come this weekend." And I remarried, and well, she remarried first, and then I remarried. But then when I remarried, then it's just everything started going downhill. Me and his relationship.
Yeah. And so,
and like I'll pick him up, and we talking and riding, and he'll just like, my mama said before I was born that you hit her, just random stuff, and it's like, dang, why would you tell him that?
So she's evil. That's why. That's what evil mothers do. They have no love.
But I was just thinking, like, if she tell him that, he's gonna think bad about me, and he's 50% of me, and he's gonna think bad about himself, and it's just gonna be a downhill spiral.
Absolutely, 100%. And so she's trying to take you to court. She's taking you to court to keep you from your son?
No, I was asking you, should I take her to court to get more custody?
Oh,
spend more time with him.
Let me change it this way. Do what you want, but I say you should walk away. I would not cut the baby in half. I would let her have it, because what's going to happen, even if you take her to court and the judge say you have 50% custody, you can see she's going to make sure that doesn't happen. If we go there to get him, she's going to never have him ready. She's going to find a reason to keep him away from you. And she's going to continue to turn him away from you. He's going to have a bad attitude. And you would have wasted your money on lawyers, and they're giving her more money and him, and they're paying for counseling for him. I wouldn't personally waste my money, Because you're on the losing end of this situation right now.
Right.
I wouldn't argue with her about him anymore. I would just throw up both my hands and walk away and work on myself, return to the Father, and God will change your life. And you never know, a situation or something can happen where you will end up with your son.
Do you think, like, when he get older, because, I mean, he's 13 now, in 5 years, he'll be 18. You think he'll come back and try to talk to me and try to figure out what happened? Or
Well, I don't know what would his situation would be, but a lot of time that does happen.
Okay.
When the father let go and just work on himself, be right and do right, all kinds of amazing things happen for him. So it's absolutely possible.
Okay. So I shouldn't call her and tell her, today my day, this my weekend, and because that's what I usually do, but she just found a way. And I've even called the police before, and the police is like, "Well, hire a lawyer again." I've hired a lawyer before, and it cost me $6,000. I got him every other weekend and all this stuff, and it worked. Everything was going good for about a couple months, and then it was just like, nope, you ain't gonna see my son. And
I would be done with it, man. I would wash my hands of it, and I wouldn't be calling her, telling her I'm coming to get him. Can you hold for 1 minute?
Yes, sir.
Hold on. Hey, Terry.
Yes, sir.
So when you cut it off, stop trying to see the boy and begging and fighting with this woman, and just don't communicate with her anymore. She's going to try to draw you back in. Oh, you haven't called for the child lately. You haven't done this. She's trying to draw you back in, and don't play the game with her.
So don't even go back and forth with her.
Don't argue with her, because what you got to realize, if you haven't already, is that you're dealing with evil. You're dealing with the devil. And the devil get thrills out of making people overreact to him. He love it because as long as you overreact to him, he can control you. And so as long as you go back and forth with this woman, in her mind, she has control over you.
Okay, I got you. I want to make one more statement.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I don't understand about the whole situation is my son he's suffering, like big time. He just sit around and play video games. He don't work out. He don't, it's just, but I'm more of a fit, athletic person. I go work out every day. I take my, just the type of stuff I like to do. And I'm like, hey, I'll buy him a gym membership. I'll pick him up. I'll work him out. I'll bring him back to you. I just want him to exercise and be healthy. And she's just like, nope.
Yeah.
And it's like, why would you hurt your son to hurt me? Like, I don't understand the psychology in that. Am I thinking too deep into it?
No, you're absolutely right. It's an amazing question. The average father would want to know that, because looking at from the outside, it doesn't make sense that she would want to hurt not only your son, it's her son too, right? But what you got to know, Terry, and I promise you, I'm not making this up either. Mothers do not love the man's children. They do not love their children at all. They have no love for their children at all. She get more thrill out of knowing that you love your son or daughter and that you want to be with him, and she get a thrill from hurting you. And if it means hurting the child, it's still another thrill for her. She feels nothing about it. Because that's her evil nature. The nature of the woman is that of evil. And that's why women are so emotional. They love thrills of feeling good, feeling angry, getting revenge, being jealous and strife and all that gossiping. They get thrills. That's what they live off, because their nature is that of evil until they repent, meaning forgive their mother for doing that to them and their father for not protecting them. So to her, it is life to hurt your son.
Oh, man. That's crazy, man. Dang. All right. Hey, I want to take a shot at the biblical question now.
All right. So here's whatever. Are you working on yourself yet?
Yeah. Man, I can't. I'm having a hard time forgiving my father, though. I can't even lie to you.
And so that's the same issue that your son is having with you, because his mother has done exactly to him what your mother has done to you. And what do you need to forgive your father for?
Well, he went to prison when I was young. He got out of prison. He just stayed gone most of my life. He was in prison. And he got out and drinking and driving and went right back. He stayed out he went to prison for 20 years. He got out, stayed out for 6 years, and he went back to prison. And I don't hate him or nothing, but I'm just so disappointed that I just don't, you know what I mean?
And why are you disappointed?
I guess I just kind of had a lot of expectations. You know, when you're a kid, you have this fairy tale of what, you know, a father's supposed to be. You don't really know what a father's supposed to be, and he got out, and it was like, dang, daddy's home, and I guess the rainbows in the sky didn't fall down. And,
yeah, I understand. but what you don't realize is that your father have the same spiritual issues that you have, because his mother did to him exactly what your mother did to you, and he didn't know how to handle life. He didn't know how to handle your mother. He did not overcome his mother. And the same evil spirit that made a home in you has made a home in him. And he loved you. It's just that he didn't know how to deal with the issues of life. And as long as you don't love your father, forgive your father, you would never be free. You cannot love God, you won't know God, and you will never be free, because how can you say you love God, whom you never seen, and resent your father, whom you have seen? And the father, men represent God. They may be weak until they wake up, but they still are sons of God. And so when you resent your earthly father, you resent God. And Satan is your God. Yeah. And the woman you made the baby with is the spirit of your mother. It's the same woman.
You know, she do remind me of my mother a lot, though, for real, just you saying that.
It's your mother.
Man, listen, I'm for real. You saying that, I'm for real. She do.
Yeah.
Everything about her. She even kind of look like her a little bit.
Every man marry their mother. Every man date their mothers, because you become attracted to what you hate, and you can't get away from it until you forgive the mother. Every woman you will forever get involved with is the spirit of your mother, and you are going to go through the same thing your father went through. And now your son...
I have to forgive my mother first,
yes,
and then forgive my father, or... Okay.
Whichever comes first. If you have a chance with the father first, forgive him. Whichever opportunity come first. But you got to face your mother. Why haven't you faced her already?
I don't know. I've always kind of resented her for a reason. For some reason, like whenever me and my ex-wife would like have disputes, she would just like take my ex-wife's side, and I was just like, you know what?
Absolutely.
It was like they'll just like team up against me, and I'm the villain all the time. So I was just like, man, I don't even want to talk to none of them. And then it was just, I don't know, I can't explain it, but that's primarily why.
Your mother
like
hates you. Your mother hates you too. But go ahead.
Oh, man. Whenever me and my ex-wife would have an argument about anything, she'll call my mom, and then my mom would be like, you're wrong. You need to apologize to her.
Yeah.
Your job is, she's a queen. You got to make her happy. And I was just working 2 jobs and just living life to make her happy, because that's what my mom said.
Wow.
But I was just living in misery.
Yes.
And it was just like, the black woman is a queen, and you're supposed to make sure that she got everything she needs, and you and your son. And as long as you taken care of and your wife is happy, then everything else comes second. It's like, dang, man, this is kind of... I did it for 6 years, but man, this is kind of miserable.
Yeah, your mother don't love you. She hates you too. And she is a queen, but she's the queen of hell.
Come on, man.
Women don't have love; they only have hate.
Yeah, man, I'm starting to see that with my son. My son's mom. Now we divorced.
Yeah.
I didn't see it until we separated. It's like, how in the heck do you love your son when you're obviously hurting, like giving him video games and not working on nutrition, health, or nothing? It's just, and you know that I'm not saying I'm a good person, but I'm going to show him the right things in life.
Right.
But you keeping him away because you don't like me. Like the logic doesn't make sense. I try to break it down in my head. I think about it all the time. When I go to sleep, I think like, dang, what can I do to make this better? You know, and I call my mom, and my mom's like, oh, you need to go to her, apologize to her for your past, what you did to her in your past, because that's why she's mad at you, because of what you did to her.
Your mother is
apologize
evil.
To her.
She's evil. And this is why a man should never, ever, never, 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 ever, but never, 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 ever tell a woman his problem. He should not talk to his mother about it. He should not talk to grandmama about it, his sister or girlfriend or wife or a female counselor or anything. A man should never tell a woman his problem. A woman can't have the man's problem because the woman hates the man. Satan is her God, and she hates the sons of God. So she's never going to give you the right advice. Nor can she give it to you because she doesn't have it. She doesn't know the truth.
Man, I thank you a lot, man, for the information. And hey, I work it's my last thing. I work at the hospital, right? And we have a big screen TV at the nursing station. And then I play you on the big TV, and then everybody's like, Beta, Beta, man. I'm walking down the hallway, and they're like, Beta. There's a lot of nurses up there.
That's
and
funny.
You had a caller one day called in, and he said, I'm a nurse, and you said, Beta. So every time a nurse walked by me, he say, Beta.
Amazing. Well, that's funny. Thank you, man. Here's what I recommend, though. You got to start focus on you now. You got to work on you. And never, ever again, as long as you walk this earth, try to make a relationship work. Don't put any effort in making a relationship. You can't make a relationship work. Either it works naturally or it doesn't work at all. Friendship, relationship, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever relationship, we're not supposed to be trying to make anything work. We're supposed to let go and let life happen naturally. So stop that. So I want you to encourage you to start doing the silent prayer. You know about the silent prayer?
Yeah, silent prayer in our video.
Yeah,
me and my wife, we do it. Honestly, we do it at nighttime, but we don't do it in the morning because I work nights. She works mornings. So
okay, well, you do it in the night and in the morning if you can, whenever you wake up or whatever, right? But you do it, and then so you're married right now?
Yeah, I'm married now. Yeah.
Does she obey you?
Yeah.
Does she have children?
No, we're working on one now.
And has she been married before?
No, sir.
Okay. Make sure you don't tell her your problems either. Don't whine with her. Don't complain with her about your ex-wife. Don't tell you when you see your now wife, all is well. Do not, because you're the head of your wife, and if she see weakness in you, she's gonna hate you for it.
Okay.
And so do the silent prayer. Face your mother and your father. Forgive them. Have no expectation. If they say sorry, fine. If they don't, fine. You forgive. Hey, I'm sorry for resenting you. I realize now you couldn't help yourself. I understand. I'm going through the same thing. Something else is controlling me. I realize you were going through the same thing. I'm sorry for resenting you. And God will forgive you. And I'm telling you, Terry, your life is going to take off. It's going to be amazing.
Yes, sir.
And from this day forward, be done with the mother and your son and work on you and let God take care of everything else.
Yes, sir. Man, thanks a lot, Jesse.
Okay.
Hey, what was the biblical question again?
Oh, yeah. why do you? One thing I want to tell. Let's say because when you stop trying to get hold of your son, this woman is going to feel like she's losing control over you. So she may call you up and say, why you never call for your son? You never call for your son. Just say, okay, let me know when it's okay to pick him up and be done with it. Don't argue or anything, all right?
Yes, sir.
And when you she said, come and get your son, go get him. But don't argue, don't try to force it or anything. The biblical question is, why do you think about other people?
Listen, Jesse, I was on the way. I was driving. I was thinking about that. And I was trying to think of something philosophical to say to you. And I said to myself, man, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Because I do that. Every time I be doing something, I think like, dang, what would this person think? Or dang, what would my wife think if I did this? Or I always think about what other people would think. But I don't even know why I do that.
And
that's a dang good question.
It's a what?
That's a dang good question, man. I've been thinking about that ever since I heard you say it. I don't even know.
That's amazing. Well, I'll put my little two. I'm glad. Thank you for responding to it. And I want to respond back, but I got to wait. And I'll put my little 2 cents in on Sunday.
Church, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you watch church?
Yeah, I try to catch it because in Texas the times are different than
Right.
California, so
yeah. But you
it's
can
like 2 hours or something like that.
Yeah, it's at. You can always podcast though if you can't catch it live.
Okay.
Rebuildingtheman.com/church.
Hey, thanks again. Hey, my wife, she want to tell you thank you. She's not with me, but ever since I started listening to you, she doesn't drive anymore.
Right on.
She's a passenger. Hey, because I used to let her drive, but now I do all the driving. She's like, "Woo, this one thing I love about Jesse. You do all the driving now. I love Jesse for this."
and you used to let her drive, and you sit in the passenger seat.
Yeah, I used to let her drive, and I heard one of your videos. You said the top 10 steps for men is never let a woman drive.
Yeah,
I was like, dang.
That's amazing.
Hey,
what a beta.
Right. And she said, tell Jesse, it's one thing I like about him is I don't got to drive no more. She just put her sunglasses on, take her shoes off, and lean
back. Nice. That's amazing. If you continue to work on yourself, man, and work on you, and all you need to do is do the silent prayer, go and forgive your parents, and stay present. Stay out of your thoughts about the past or the future. Don't look forward. Don't look back. Just stay present, and everything is going to work on your behalf. It'll just happen naturally.
Yes, sir.
And let me know how it goes, man. I wish you well.
Yes, sir. All right. Have a good one.
You too, buddy. Amazing.